Hello, welcome to another week of Daylightcast. We're doing another 3-man episode today. People are not feeling too well or either just not here. We got Fleur to V.
Hello.
Yeah, we got the Soya Man, Tofu.
Hey, what up?
That's us and me, your host, I guess. Alright.
I guess.
I guess I'm the host. I don't even know what my role is here. I set this whole thing up.
He is the host. He is the host.
Yeah, boy.
It's true. It's true, he is.
It may be correct. Alright, I guess we're gonna give our short opinions on the whole MLGA thing because that's caused a lot of controversy this week. I don't think me and Flair have used it before. I don't know a lot about it except that it's like a packet sniffer based on Java and, it checks ping and you could back up stuff.
I should have used it. It's a pretty nifty. It's nifty.
It's amazing.
Thing.
The guy who
it's
did
really
it,
good. Yeah,
it looks like it's really good. Yeah.
It's super nice. I'm not gonna lie.
However, it has been blacklisted. That does not mean
it's not been blacklisted. No, it hasn't been. You're wrong. No.
I'm wrong. I've been misinformed. Fake news. Oh boy.
A lot of people keep saying it's been blacklisted. It's been unwhitelisted is what it's been. It's no longer whitelisted, but it's not black.
So it's greylisted.
Yeah,
so it's a use at your own risk. That's basically, exactly if you get banned by EAC, the devs will not cry about you. I think that's what they said.
Yep, they're not gonna press F. They're not gonna pay respects. They're not gonna give a fuck. You're just gonna be fucked. But at the same time, it's not like they're actively looking for like motherfuckers using MLG to ban them. You know what I mean? It's just no longer a whitelist. That's what it is.
So if you like walking on the razor's edge there, you can use it. If you like playing it safe, don't.
It's a sad day, dude.
I get the reason why it's been unwhitelisted for anyone that doesn't watch the streams or like just plays the game and doesn't care. In which case, I wouldn't know why you're listening to a podcast then.
Wow.
Because I mean, come on, if you play the game but you just don't really care about the community, you just care about the game. I'm sorry. It's been unwhitelisted because it also featured a feature that you could mark certain IPs from people by giving them either loved or hated. So basically you can...
Nurse me.
So yeah.
As far as I know, too, the reason why that's a thing, like this is a thing where I wish Matthew was here because he knows more about it. But he told me it has something to do along with the terms of matchmaking. Something about how like survivors get connected to killer lobbies that have been around longer. Like basically, like the longer that the lobbies existed, it gets like first priority in matchmaking. Mm-hmm. So when people like dodge the lobbies, it then like fucks it all up. And it basically, long story short, it screws with matchmaking in some way. The way he explained it made a ton of sense. I can't make a ton of sense because I don't fucking know, but it does make sense. Just trust me, okay?
Your TLDR basically gave a good summary. That's basically why.
Basically, it's bad. Dodging people all the time is bad.
Don't dodge people. Don't be scared of those flashlights. Learn to play against them. They're not OP, despite what Reddit says.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with survivors dodging killers. Although I do it myself, so like I can't even I'm being a hypocrite here because I block. Like I don't ever block people for playing a specific. Like I would never block someone just for playing nurse or whatever because I don't care. But like I block people for play styles. Like if you play against one of those people who just like every single person they catch they face
relentlessly tunnel them. Or something
like they face cam them, and if you somehow manage to save them, they relentlessly tunnel them. Yeah, like I block them because it's just not fun. Like I'd rather not play again. Like I'm not gonna shit talk them. Yeah, I just don't want to play against them. I'd just rather avoid it. But that's apparently unhealthy.
It's valid, but if you sacrifice screwing with the matchmaking for that,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think it's a bad thing to do, but at the same time, if it's fucking with matchmaking, then I also understand the devs' point of view. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I can't be too mad about it because it does make sense why they're doing it.
So yeah, press F to pay respects, MLGA. I think that was fine. I don't think we need to touch any more on that. Another thing that's been happening this week, Freddy got nerfed. He didn't get completely demolished, as the devs were they had some suggestions for nerfs, but they didn't go through with it. They didn't also nerf Remember Me. That's still the way it is when it was released. For anyone that doesn't know how Freddy got nerfed, I think the nerfs were just they increased the star radius to 24 meters. And now when you put someone to sleep, there's like a 3-second slow where you cannot interact with anything. And that's it. Those are the nerfs.
That's actually a bug for the record.
That you can interact?
Yeah.
No, I figured.
Yeah, you're actually supposed to be slow, but you're supposed to be able to do things. You're supposed to be able to, sorry, I may or may not be eating a fucking candy bar while we're doing this. You're supposed to be able to, like, interact with things like kick pallets. You're supposed to be able to, you know, put more people into the sleep state. You're not supposed to be, like, disabled for 3 seconds. That's actually a bug. So, it like, that's probably the worst nerf that he got, was that one. But even it's, you know, mostly bad because of the bug and not actually because of what they're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So once that's fixed, it won't be quite so bad. It's still kind of rough, but it's not so bad.
I think those are actually pretty good balance changes, like increasing the terror radius. I think personally this kind of shows that they didn't just directly reduce numbers or shit like that, you know. They actually thought about something before, you know. Because if it's not like it's like more of an indirect nerf, you know.
Yeah, I think I mean I don't know.
It's not just straight up saying this killer has like a worse power now. It's just like we're increasing his terror radius because his terror radius interacts with his power in a way, and that way it's not as strong anymore. You know. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it makes sense in my head. Okay.
You're right. It's I don't know. It's kind of nice. Of course, I still think Freddy is like fundamentally not fun, but
yeah, I mean
fundamentally,
fundamentally a mistake.
Wah wah.
Wah wah wah.
I think all the devs are really trying to do, for the record, is just trying to make him more bearable at low ranks. Is really all they're worried about at the moment.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, if he's gonna be shit at high ranks and like whatever, I mean that's fine.
Everything else is, you know, we're used to it. We can deal.
We can always just fall back on Billy, you know. We don't have to play new
games.
games.
Well, I mean, they used to be the case, and then they made Billy suck, and then we kind of just accepted how much he sucked because he was still better than every other killer. Better in the more fun way.
Oh well. Where is this even going right now?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
This is Sleepy Cat right now. Everybody's feeling kind of.
Well, I mean, what's actually the topic for today? I actually don't even know what the topic is for today. But I'm just waiting for you to bring it on to me. You know.
I mean, yeah, we're talking about Freddy nerfs right now, but I guess there's not a lot to talk about the Freddy nerfs.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot. They kind of just lowered some very base shit. It's still pretty much the same Freddy.
I guess.
You know what I would like to see with Freddy?
Ooh.
You know what I want to see?
Ooh,
I want to see a complete Freddy redesign. That's what I want.
That's what I want to see too. You know what I want to see? I want to see them create more powers that make the killer feel powerful and not the survivors feel miserable. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would like that too. And the biggest one with that, dude, the biggest thing for Billy that doesn't make survivors like feel miserable is his map mobility. You know what I mean? You can zoom around the map with your fucking chainsaw. It feels great, but guess what? Because there's that stun at the end of it, survivors never feel like, oh great, it's the Billy zooming on me again, nothing I can do. Like they can get away from you when you're zooming around. It just lets you start chases really fast. It lets you patrol gens really fast. Feels fucking good.
Feels good, man. Good.
It's not like Nurse where you blink across the map and then you spot someone in the distance, 2 more blinks, whoops, fucking slap him across the face, eat a hit, dummy.
That's what you get for walking around.
That's what you get for playing Dead by Daylight.
Anyways.
It just kind of happened, you know? It kind of just happened that his ability also had some of the most unique interaction in close quarters, aside from the crazy map ability. Like it was all a beautiful, beautiful mistake.
happy little accidents, you know.
Exactly. Billy was the happiest accident.
Oh man.
I would definitely like to see it made to be more fun for both sides, though. I agree, and I also think that like they need to make it balanced too, because I feel like the way Freddy is right now is he's just kind of shit. Like they need to make him better in chases. I think they keep like balancing things around like not really realizing like where the issues are in playing killer. Like the issues are like their ability to catch people. You know, like I guess they could fix that by changing the maps, though. I mean, I don't know.
That's
Dude.
that's definitely like a general thing.
Yeah.
Killer struggling to catch survivors is probably mostly a result of pallets right now. Pallets are just like they're so bad. If you look at a pallet and you press spacebar from across the map, you're there and you're safe. It's so safe to drop pallets right now.
Yeah, I agree.
If they can get a fix in for that, and then like at the same time, you know, kick Bloodlust, and then we could start working on actual map design and start, you know, making killer chases not awful. And then from there, because here's my thing: is like if you make killers super strong right now without, you know, changing around maps and pallets and shit, they're gonna be nuts when they fucking revert pallets, or if they do. So it's kind of like. The change that needs to happen first is pallet drops need to be altered, and then from there.
You know, even though we kind of already passed that topic,
You can talk about whatever, dude. What are you
according
now?
according to the lore, Billy actually literally was an accident.
Yeah. That was. I don't know if that was a happy accident though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that was a really sad accident.
I actually, because I got curious, I did the same thing actually with when Leatherface came out. Because I was curious, I watched the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Ooh.
And Jesus Christ. it has 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not good. The guy who played Freddy he did a good job, but Jesus Christ. It was so uncomfortable to watch. Like, Freddy, the whole movie was so rapey. It was just unpleasant, dude. I didn't like it.
If you don't like it, that means it's scary, right?
Oh, fucking hell. It's uncomfortable to watch. Like, the scenes with Freddy were just uncomfortable, man. I guess that's all I can say about that movie. It was weird, man. Like, there were some really weird scenes in there. Cause like
on the flip side,
I
heard the It movie remake was really good.
Oh, I've seen it. Is really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think the dumbest scene of the movie, honestly, because like, you know, there's like Quentin, we have the game, and then there's Nancy, and they're like, dude, we gotta kill Freddy by bringing him in the real world. And then what they do is, like, Nancy goes to sleep, and then just as Freddy tries to stab her in the heart, like, Quentin just stabs her in the heart with an adrenaline shot, so she wakes up. And for some reason, that pulls Freddy into the real world, and then they kill him. And that's the end.
Spoiler alert!
Don't watch the movie; it's not good. I'm sorry.
You know what? I didn't plan on it before you told me, and now I double don't plan on it. I should probably finish my thoughts on Freddy. I think for me, Freddy, like, the cool thing about Freddy is the dream world transition, and kind of like how there's two states and how he can pull you from one to the other and play with you there. I would like if he kind of played off of the dream world. In a way that I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think it would be really cool if they looked at that and then moved completely away from the regression thing. So maybe I think the dream world shouldn't statically or just flat debuff survivor action speeds. I think because this is something I thought about a lot. Like, whenever I see something that sucks in Dead by Daylight, I think, all right, well, something's wrong. how could they fix it? Because I want to think what could I say, that would fix this scenario, so that way I can't just say, well, you're doing everything wrong and I don't know why and I don't know the answer. I want to have the answers, because otherwise I'm just an annoying prick. I could be an annoying prick and be right, is what I'm getting at, and to be right I need the answers. So I was thinking, what if it messed with survivor perception? So maybe in the dream world you can't see like a certain distance around you. Maybe you can only see up to like 1.5 tiles around you, and then outside that range, Freddy can do fuckery. So maybe if you knock, maybe if you knock someone into the dream world, he can move at like super speed outside of that range. But then once he gets into that range, so you're constantly like looking around and he's messing with you, or maybe he can create decoys or something. Maybe he can press a button in the dream world to start like the terror radius from a certain direction that he's not coming from. Maybe you can mess with the red light. I don't know. It kind of goes into Doctor, but it would be more interactive as a killer. So instead of just, okay, these things are passively happening to survivors that I had nothing to do with. It's like you create these things as the killer. So I don't know. I still think there's shit that they could do to fix them. It's one of those total redesign scenarios, where like the Doctor, the paths that he started taking with the Doctor Cube was pretty cool. Where instead of just being passive debuff killer, you throw the shocks on people and you try to mess up their interactions. And unfortunately, as we know, that doesn't play out super well at high level play. It could with some tweaks, I think, but it didn't quite hit what it was trying to hit. Like if the Doctor were to get a total redesign, he would kind of move down more that route of messing with survivor interactions and then tracking survivors more easily, and less on the debuff side of things. Having to snap out of madness, because for newer players, the hiding part sucks. Obviously, new survivors don't want to be found. Suck it up. But then one of the biggest things that contribute to that is snapping out of madness, and I'm sure nothing feels worse than failing a skill check and being found. So I think that's a huge part of it. And if they were to redesign him, they could move away from snapping out of it. Like maybe that could be a quick 3-second interaction, just so you couldn't maybe I don't know, do important interactions like heal or whatever during mid chase, so you could keep some more pressure on you. But at the same time, you wouldn't feel subjected to fucking 9 skill checks, and then if you fail any of them, then you're revealed. But yeah, I'd like to see more Dream World and less just regression shit, because it's possible. That's what I would want to see in my perfect world.
In your dream world.
In my dream world, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call it? Magical Christmas Land, I think. In Magical Christmas Land.
I mean, yeah, I think there's a lot of... I'm kind of disappointed because, honestly, especially after seeing the movie, there's so much more they could have done with the whole dream world mechanic other than just... You can't do generators. Deal with it.
It's so lazy, dude.
Yeah.
The dream world is exactly the same as the normal world, except it's like purple or whatever. What fucking color does the sky turn?
It's like grayish.
Yeah, I think everything
by the way,
kind of gray.
The dream world only appears once in the entire movie.
What? That's
like
his whole thing.
You only see a character like transition into the dream world as we see it in game once, where like everything turns like a white grayish color and everything's like kind of burnt, and the rest of the movie is like just a boiler room.
Oh, well, I mean that sounds like that's why it sucks.
Yeah. This movie's fucking dumb. Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't think I can't really say a lot about Freddy. I've played him a bit, but it's weird. I don't really have a real suggestion for Freddy, so I guess I'm just gonna say nothing,
Yeah, that's how
not,
I feel.
He's not a killer I think about a lot. He's just not special.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's the same thing for me. Is like as soon as Freddy came out, I was asked, so Flair, what do you think about Freddy? And I just say I just
Who's
don't
Freddy?
like him. But yeah, Freddy was the I still haven't even fucking played the guy. Like every killer that's been added to the game since I like stopped playing, I've come in, I've played a bit, I checked him out, even if it was just for like a few hours, right? But Freddy wasn't worth coming back to check out. He wasn't.
Mm-mm.
So fucking boring.
And what's even more disappointing is when his perks first got announced, everybody got crazy over them. They're fucking trash. All of his perks are trash.
Fire Up. That's something that I actually do kind of want to check out.
That's Fire Up. The thing about Fire Up, I was about to talk about Fire Up, because Fire Up, what the hell is up with Fire Up? It's like,
what's wrong? Does it not work?
Okay, no. The thing with it says for each generator repaired, you get a token. Wrong. You only start getting tokens. Basically, the perk only activates after the second generator has been repaired, and you don't get a token for the fifth generator. And second of all,
you don't get a token for the fifth generator?
Nope. You max out at 4 tokens, and the perk only like activates once 2 generators or more have been repaired.
So you can only get 2 tokens ever?
3 tokens.
What?
I know, right? It's why.
So your second generator, you do get a token though, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you get a token for the first. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's.
Oh, you get
tokens.
A token for each generator, but it doesn't activate until
the second one. Yes.
So how can you only get 3 tokens? I'm fucking confused.
I'm confused myself.
I don't know what Atro's confused about. It works totally fine. You basically you get up to like 4 tokens or something.
Yeah, but why don't you get a token for the 5th generator? That's what I wonder.
Because it only benefits you up to 4 tokens. You don't get a benefit for having a 5th token, so it doesn't bother.
Yeah, but why won't they add that? Why wouldn't they like make it scale up to 20% with 5 tokens?
Well, because it would probably
might be too strong. Yeah.
Or
it might be more like that no-ad situation where.
But then again, you only get 20% in the very end game where people already have the option to escape. And it's not even. I guess it's supposed to be like you can chase people more efficiently, but it sounds strong on paper even when you like pair it with brutal strength. Like imagine that with 20% and then paired with brutal strength, you just shred through pallets. But that's as I said, that's only when all generators have been repaired. So, it's not all the time. It's not you start the game with 40% pallet break speed. So yeah. I guess what I want to see from Fire Up is just scale up to 20% and then change the drop speed bonus. Remove that and put it on hooking speed bonus so you hook people faster. That's just... I've used the perk a lot.
Really?
It's my favorite. I've used it a lot on Wraith and a lot on Hillbilly.
Did you stack? I'm assuming you're stacking with brutal strength, of course.
I'm stacking with brutal strength on Wraith. Yeah, not on Billy.
Not on Billy. Ooh.
Oh, I don't use
it's a perk that this is. See, the killer didn't interest me at all, but then we got this static number increase. And that caught my eye. For sure, Fire Up caught my eye. And it was one of those things where I was afraid, alright, either this is going to be like too strong or it's going to be fucking useless. Depending on how the numbers play out in game. So I can't give like a full opinion on that. I want to try it. But
it feels like it's not too great. I had someone from my stream made a YouTube video.
Oh yeah, that's a good video. I've seen it.
Yeah, where they like recorded with like a stopwatch the exact timings of everything with like 0 stacks and
it's like a second on hooking people or something.
And honestly, like the numbers are actually kind of bugged. Like it's not consistent around the board. Like it's not always the same percentage increase. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, I could give you a link to the video and you could like link it under the podcast.
Definitely do exactly that.
Yeah, because it's a really nice video. And it really shows like how much it increases it, and it also shows that it's I think bugged because it's definitely not the same increase for each one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like as I said, I definitely want to see them do that. Put it up to 20%, so you get like 5 tokens for each generator. Maybe they can keep the thing where it only activates at the second generator. I don't know whether it's a thing. It's not stated in the perk description, so you know.
Is it not?
No. The perk description says, word for word, for each generator repaired you get a token, but it doesn't say that it only activates after the second generator. And that's still wrong because you don't get a token for the fifth generator.
Well, it says it's activated 4 times, so why did you get a token?
I don't know.
I get that you want it, but
What?
it's a little goofy.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. There's no point in getting a token that doesn't mean anything.
No. Oh, I get it. No, I mean just whatever. I need to stop, dude. I always do these like semi-drunk because it's Saturday.
Saturday drunk? Saturday is just auto drunk?
Yeah.
Sorry, we all.
I've been trying new kinds.
I've
of
been
beers,
there,
you know.
man.
It's like you Kilkenny is like a really good beer. You know, it tastes really good. It's like Irish beer. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Fire up's not too great. Make it better. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Wait, whoa, where you go? Where you go? No, bye. Okay, thanks. Yes, bye. Where'd that come
thanks.
from?
I'm gonna stay.
Don't leave us alone here. You're the host.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about Blood Warden? Because Blood Warden's also kind of shit.
I mean, we already discussed this though in the Freddy podcast. So.
Oh yeah, we did. I'm sorry.
I guess just nothing's been happening with BBB.
Are we just out of shit to talk about?
Very glad that you're asking that because, you know, since he's been stolen, like his spotlight has been stolen, I think 2 times now in a row. Let's talk about Micheal Myers. A little bit. The shape.
Ooh, he's bloodless earliest incarnation. No kidding. I'm serious. Think about it. Stare at people, get bonuses.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's true. He probably inspired Bloodlust. They were like,
Oh yeah. Everyone loved Myers when Myers came out.
Oh man, dude. I mean, people loved Myers because all of his perks were also pretty good. Except Dying Light. It's like... It's not bad, it's just a fucking dumb perk.
I mean, from the beginning, they wanted the killer to be this really stupid, fucking powerful thing that you couldn't really play around. That was like from day one, they wanted that. And it was like that for them from day one, because they all sucked at playing Survivor. But that's fine, because, you know, they were making a casual spooky horror game, and they were casual gamers. They just wanted to play hide and seek, you know? That's kind of what they were going for.
Let's talk about why that is.
Well,
starting with his ability, because maybe we should read the ability first. It's power.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm going off too hard here. Go on.
Alright, so his ability is called Evil Within. I'm reading this off the wiki. His special ability is called Evil Within, a 3-tier gauge which affects the shape's ability to hunt differently for each respective phase. The shape can stalk survivors, which fills up its current Evil Within phase. You look at people and press M2. The shape gains pure benefit from going up at Evil Within stages, with the exception of his terror radius, which increases for each stage. Any survivors currently being stalked will be highlighted brightly, and more than one survivor can be stalked at once. Survivors that are hiding in foliage, corn, grass, shrubs, etc., or a breaking line of sight will either delay or stop the shape from gaining any points from stalking them. Shape starts at Tier 1. Tier 1 is... Your terror radius is basically non-existent. It's like 2 meters or something. They only hear it when you're right next to them. Your movement speed is slightly reduced. Your lunge is reduced. You basically cannot lunge. And perks like Premonition and Bind, I believe, and Object of Obsession don't work on you. Once you advance to Tier 2, you basically become a normal killer, just that your terror rate is slightly lower. I think it's 16, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 16.
16 meters.
That sounds very correct.
And then once you go to the big one, you go to Tier 3. Ooh, you get a normal terror radius of 32 meters, normal movement speed. Your lunge is slightly larger. I think you get the nurse lunge, right? Is that the nurse lunge?
No, you do not. Nurse lunge is a whole different. It's a whole different thing.
Let's not go in there then.
Yeah, that's an entire fucking 10-minute talk in itself.
Your vaulting speed is slightly increased, and your attacks deal double damage. Wow, that means you instantly down survivors.
Double.
And it lasts 60 seconds, after which you go back to tier 2, and then you can have to restock people.
Does it say double damage on the description?
Yes. Attacks deal double damage.
It's kind of... that's interesting.
Critical hit.
I mean, I guess it's supposed. I guess that's good because like borrowed time. That way, it's not like it says it instantly downs, and borrowed time does it instantly down. Double damage, I guess, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's. You know what? Maybe that's a good thing.
When are we gonna get quad damage?
Holy crap, dude! Just add it to Leatherface.
Dude, just give it. Yeah, dude.
Just add it to Leatherface.
Just give us power-ups on the map.
I like it.
Just give us a power-up which goes quad damage. And you just shred through people. Hell yeah. Chainsawing people with quad damage just deletes them.
Yeah.
Deletes their save file. Easy.
I like it. No more DVD for you, nerd.
Easy. Go play better games. Sorry.
Oh.
That is opinionated. It's very opinionated, okay? You can't judge me for this. Okay, maybe you can.
I'm judging.
God damn it.
Y'all getting judged.
What do you think about his power?
Myers' power. Little boring. You stare at survivors and you get double damage.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of hate abilities that are like super passive like that. Like I don't want to just stare. Like basically, as Myers, you're like incentivized to like when you're in a chase to not actually try to hit them and instead stare at them. You know, to get bigger, and that's just kind of weird to me. Like I don't want to stare at them. I want to just hit them and kill them. I mean, I guess it makes it interesting because then you could like stock up your power, then like unleash it at a certain time or whatever. And I also think that his terror radius being reduced is like interesting. Like he was like the first killer that did that, so I thought it was super neat. But now, like nowadays, a bunch of killers have weird terror radius.
Yeah,
and I'm just kind of getting old.
They took that really cool element that was like unique to him, and then they're just like, all right, we're gonna put it on every killer now.
Yeah.
Every killer. They like Myers. We're putting it on every killer.
Yep, Huntress and Freddy and everybody. It fucking sucks.
Why?
How do we make Hag more interesting?
Huntress.
Give her a 28
like,
meter terror radius.
Huntress is kind of different in that they actually did things with it other than just random terror race change. Like, cause Hag. Hag is just the fucking smaller terror radius, right?
4 meters.
But then Huntress has like the whole lullaby mechanic, which is a thing into itself. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm saying they did something with it. But then every other killer is just like, all right, we got rando terror radiuses up in this bitch. Because Freddy still on rando terror radius? Did they? I feel like what they do when they make a new killer is they've got this fucking wheel that they spin with a whole bunch of different meters ranges listed on it. That's what it feels like. Why did you do this from a game design perspective? Spin the wheel.
16 meters! Okay, hell.
I mean, is there anything else to really say about my? I mean, I don't know. I thought he was unique at first. Like when he first came out, I liked him a lot because he was very unique. And now, I mean, nowadays I just kind of find him boring. I still think there's some fun stuff you could do with him with like modern abuse and all that. But like, I don't know. I guess he's cool. I mean, honestly, all things considered, considering what like all the other killers do in this game, you know, he's a pretty good design. Like, there's some fun things you can do with him, and like, there's some fun things you can do playing against him. You know, like. There's definitely some fun times to be had playing as or against him, especially when you compare him to some of the other killers in this game. So I'll go ahead and say that I like his design. I guess I don't like playing him, but I think his design's interesting.
Do you like playing against him?
Actually, I don't mind it. Honestly, I really don't mind it.
There you go.
I would rather play against a Myers than like a Leatherface or like, you know, a lot of the other killers in this game. So like, you know, he's not my favorite to go against, but he's definitely nowhere near as bad as some of the others. So
what I like about Myers playing against him is he does this thing that no other killer does. I don't know if anyone shares this, But just like the moment when you're not being chased, but you're like just doing a generator and you hear the evil within 3 pop. I think that feeling that you get as a survivor, I think no other killer does that, and I kind of really like it. I don't know, because it's kind of like, it's like a oh shit moment, you know, and you don't really have that in DVD, at least not as a survivor, at least not for me.
See, that's one of the cool things going on with it. I dig what you're saying. It depends, I guess. Monitor and abuse kind of makes that possible. Just because maybe you don't know where he's going to be coming from when the oh shit hits. But like if you know where he is and he pops evil within 3, you just pallet loop, you know. And either he bloodlusts or he kicks the pallets. So one of the two. It never feels. If I were to redesign Myers, I'd make it more less of like a one shot stabby and more of an unstoppable rage. So like triggering evil within 3, maybe it like cuts your lunge cooldown in half or whatever, and then because that would be like the same effect that No It has when you're trying to unhook someone, more or less. In some ways it might be better, in some ways it might be worse. But I don't want to see the one shot. I want to see, you know, maybe one shot, whatever. But I want like brutal strength and enduring on him. Brutal strength 4, enduring 4. So like, you know, when he pops this shit, you gotta be fucking run. You gotta maybe drop the chase if you can, just because otherwise you're gonna be wasting a lot of pallets with how fast you'll be going through them. It doesn't. My point being, evil within 3, popping that in the chase doesn't change the chase. It just ends it faster if you get hit. The chase is exactly the same. Exactly the same as Trapper. Exactly the same. Although, no, his lunge does get a little bit longer. For the most part, it's pretty fucking similar. And that's why I think it kind of sucks, because like you can just waste out his chase. You can waste out his evil within 3 timer, running him around pretty much the same way you did running around any other killer.
That's why it's easy, dude. That's why you just use Insidious. Alright? You're 99
I'm listening.
You get you get agitation. You get iron
Alright,
gas.
I'm following, yes.
Go to the basement, you put them on the back hook. You put them on the back hook. Alright? And what you do is you wait. And then somebody comes and tries to save them, and you pop your within 3, and then you got 2 people in the basement. And then you wait, and then somebody comes trying to help you. You kill them, and then you have 3 people in the basement. Well, and then the 4th guy gets the hatch because he knows what's up. You know?
That should have been something they addressed immediately as soon as they saw people doing it. It was weird. I don't know why they didn't. Was sitting at the hook with evil within 99%. I don't know why they didn't. You
know, the best part was they did it again with Leatherface. How could we have anticipated people staying fully revved at the hook? Oh no!
What about my main man? Because when they see something happen in the game, like a bug, that shit should be put on a list of things to check with QA so it doesn't happen again. But like, I think every single killer has had some form of like the really goofy smack lunge, you know, when you're carrying someone and then you hit someone and then you either just keep going, or with the Huntress you went invisible, you know, shit like that. That happens so many times. You know? All these mistakes just kind of keep popping up in the game. I don't know why.
Dude, it's almost like the QA team doesn't do that.
Well, I would say it's more of a management thing. I would say it's more of they're not telling QA to do this. They're not telling QA to look at this. I mean, you could blame QA. But I mean, how did the bug get in the game in the first place? I don't know. It's whatever. It's just bizarre. I don't want to put the blame on anyone because I don't know what goes on over there. It could be something really stupid. Maybe this one fucking guy like spilled milk on this guy's like computer and it reverted the patch back to, and the guy that spilled the milk was actually the janitor. So I don't know, man.
The janitor's fault, dude.
The whole time.
All this time we've been blaming Matthew Tote, and it's the fucking janitor, dude.
Oh my god.
Anyways, I don't know.
Nah, I mean,
the flick, dude. They added the flick back to the game, but the fucking janitor, he stole the USB because his son needed it for a fucking music project. He needed to copy over his MIDI files for school.
It was like he saw like the file. He's like flick.json. What the hell is this? I don't want this.
He just delete.
Nah, but for real though, I do agree with like the point you're getting at though. Is I hate throwing blame at specific people too because we don't really know what the fuck goes on, you know? Like it's hard to like say like, oh, this is an issue and it's this particular person's fault and we know it. Like we don't fucking know, dude. We don't know what the hell goes on in the offices, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Unless like the person comes out and announces it to everyone.
Yeah.
And there have been people that have done that. And in those cases, I think it's okay to get a little bit upset. Just a little bit. But outside of those, yeah.
Just imagine on the next dev stream, just like Makodi and some random guys like, this is our janitor. He spilled milk.
This is a public shaming stream. Please all direct your attention.
Okay. We still have his add-ons, you know.
Myers add-ons?
Yeah, we're not gonna go through the add-ons that are just like slightly increases movement speed while stalking, or like using a power like increases your duration and shit. We're gonna go to the special ones.
Okay, can I say something first before you go into the add-ons? But it's just a general thing about the add-ons. None of his add-ons remove counterplay. Do you guys feel that? Because I feel that. Do you guys feel that?
I feel that.
I don't feel like he has any one add-on that's like the Huntress wind-up times, or the Billy wind-up times, or what's the other one? Like 3 blinks, you know? He doesn't have any of those. None of his add-ons remove counterplay. So no matter what he throws on, there are some that are like kind of perceived as strong or maybe unfun, but none of them remove counterplay. You can always play around Myers, and I think I like it. I like Myers add-ons. I think that's the biggest contributor. The biggest contributor to why people just don't fucking hate playing against Myers is because his add-ons were good. Maybe intentionally.
It's not like you play against the Myers and you're like, holy fuck, he has this add-on, there's nothing we can do kind of deal, you know? Like, everything is manageable.
Oh, it's just sub-billy,
annoying. Yeah, like, so some of them are annoying. Like Infinite Tier 3 can be annoying, but it has counterplay, you know? It takes
you
so
just
long
don't get stuck.
Yeah. And then also, even once he does go tier 3, you can still kite him the same way you kite any killer, you know? Like, it doesn't take away anything. Yeah, I agree. It's really good. I really enjoy it. I wish they would do that with every killer.
I love it when I see Myers, like seeing people play Myers on streams or anything, or just like being a survivor and seeing a Myers do it. Or like chasing someone, and then some guy comes up and like starts teabagging, he pops Evil Within 3 and just smacks them on the ground, and then keeps chasing the other guy. Oh, I love it when people do that. It's just the little things, man. It's like stay in your lane, and then they just chase the other guy. First add-on, we got the Boyfriend's Memo, which slightly increases the launch of Evil Within 1. You know what makes me wonder about the Boyfriend's Memo? Because supposedly in tier 1, your launch is slightly decreased.
It's incredibly decreased.
Yeah, it says. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It can't be right because it says slightly decreased. This slightly increases the lunge, so it should be normal lunge. But it isn't.
Something is afoot here.
Are you trying to tell me that sometimes slightly doesn't mean slightly? Shut the fuck up.
Go on, dude. I can't.
I don't know about you guys, but I perfectly understand when they say slightly. My mind fucking hones in on the percent. All right,
yeah, dude, I know.
You say slightly, my brain, boom, 5%. Moderately, boom, 7%.
All right, Boyfriend's Memo.
You're just not thinking about it hard enough.
Boyfriend. We only use Boyfriend's Memo together with Scratched Mirror. I think that's all we can really say about it. I don't think people use Boyfriend's Memo really.
Yeah, honestly, staying in tier 1, like I guess I could have just said this whenever we were talking about his power, but like staying in tier 1 generally is a shit strat. Like you can sneak up on people. The most you can do is pull people off gens. It's like the only way you're gonna catch a good survivor is pulling them off of a gen. You can maybe sneak attack one hidden. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't see you coming, but then he knows where you are, and you're so slow, and your lunge is non-existent, and you can't even get bloodlust in tier 1 now. So like you're literally stuck. Yeah, you're literally stuck at that slow ass speed, which I think is like very, very slightly faster than survivor speed. I think
very slightly.
It is definitely. Well, I think it's quite a significant. There you go. I'm gonna use that word. Significantly faster.
Are you sure?
Than
considerably fast?
No, 7%. No.
What the fuck?
Okay, but what I'm saying is it just doesn't feel that way because survivor hitbox is tiny survivor hitbox. So when they run around objects and shit, that amount is like yeah. Anyways,
you could basically pilot loop him forever.
Wait. I can look this up. This is why we have the wiki. Walking in tier 1 is 4.14 meters per second.
Okay.
That's 103.5%.
How would you feel if Myers' Evil Within 1 didn't make him slower, but he just couldn't lunge at all?
I'd be fine with that.
I'd be cool with that, yeah.
Because Myers' Evil Within 1 was really cool, and everyone was excited about it when he first came out. Like, oh, think of all the builds you could do, because he has no terror radius. And then you do them all, and they work for a bit, and then people catch on, and then it does fucking nothing. But then,
it's like a better Wraith, except it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome mechanic. I would love to see it more viable. Like, I think it's like I used to have a ton of fun playing with like Scratch Me or Myers. You know, like it used to be like one of my most favorite things to do. And then once people were like realized how to play against it, it just became miserable. And now it's like it literally is miserable to play like that. And it sucks because it was such a unique thing that you don't do. Like it's so different from other killers styles. You know, like I wish it was more viable.
That is literally Trapper IRL, man. Just people started learning the trap spots, and then Trapper became obsolete. And people were like, dude, it's like Trapper, we can just do that gens. He's probably setting up traps. Whatever, man. Let's move on to the next add-on. We got, should we talk about this? We got the Dead Rabbit, which moderately decreases your terror radius in Evil Within 2, but it moderately increases it in Evil Within 3.
Do you get Bloodlust in Evil Within 2?
Yes.
Fuck.
Shit.
Yeah, that one's like, I feel like most people's go-to. Like, that combined with Monitored Abuse just makes you crazy. Like, if you're not in a chase and in tier 2, your terror radius is like, I don't even know what the exact number is, but it's something like 6 meters, some shit like that. It's really small. And then if you get tier 3 and you're also in a chase, and then your terror radius becomes like fucking like 50 meters or some ridiculous shit. So yeah, that perk I feel like is like the most go-to one I see for Myers, honestly. Yeah. And it's only uncommon, so it pops up a decent bit, you know.
It's a straight upgrade to his power, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no reason not to run a Dead Rabbit when you have it.
Yeah, like you pretty much always want an increase in terror radius in tier 3, and you pretty much always want a decrease in tier 2. Like I don't think you're ever gonna not want that, you know. Like you want to be stealthy in tier 2, and in tier 3 you want to create pressure because you're already you should already be in a chase, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're gonna be trying to sneak up on people in tier 3. I mean, you could be, but probably not.
I think that's all we can say about that rabbit. It's just straight upgrade. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Glass Fragment and the Mirror Shard, which both do their respective... they're similar. Glass Fragment only is for tier 1, and Mirror Shard is only for tier 2. Evil Within 1/2 reveals the aura of survivors who've been stuck for at least 1 second. For the Glass Fragments, the aura stays visible for 2 seconds, and for the Mirror Shard, it stays visible for 5 seconds. What do we think about that? I think... Sounds good, doesn't work.
What do you mean doesn't work?
It sounds really good on paper, but whenever I used it, I just...
Didn't feel like it did anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I thought you meant like it was actually bugged, didn't work.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
no. It's just like, sounds good, doesn't work.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I use it, and like it... I guess I don't know what the point of it is. I guess to help you keep track of the person for a second, but like it's not that hard to do that already. So I don't know. Like I've used it too, and didn't really notice it helping me at all. It was just kind of showed an aura of somebody that I was already looking at, so I already knew where they were anyway. You know, like I don't know. It seemed pretty pointless to me.
That add-on's just a big shrug for me.
Big shrug.
Big shrug.
Yeah, I agree. Huge shrug.
Huge shrug.
The
Right.
biggest of shrug.
Moving on. We got Judith's Journal. You become obsessed with one survivor, considerably increase the rate at which evil is gained when stalking your obsession.
I think that's kind of neat.
That's pretty neat.
I think that's one of the. Well, okay, just hearing it now, I've never had a problem with it. I want to give some in-depth commentary on it. Tell me what you think. I think that's one of the cooler. My first impression, cooler obsession add-ons or items. Cooler obsession mechanics, I should even dare I say, cooler obsession mechanics, because most obsession stuff in the game right now, what do you guys think of it?
Are you trying to say the best
No, well,
thing?
no, what do you
No.
think about most of the obsession stuff in game right now? If you could describe it in like 10 words or less.
10 words or less?
Yeah.
10 words or less? Alright, Tofu, why don't you start?
Underwhelming. It's underwhelming. I like this is gonna be more than 10 words. Fuck. I like the
You
whole,
can
like,
say more than 10 words. I'm just saying in a nutshell.
yeah, I kind of like the idea of it, you know, being like hit like it helps you and hurts you in a way, you know, like how there's good sides and downsides to it, but I also feel like the good sides are just not good enough, you know, like perks like save the best for last and play with your food and stuff. And they're all pretty much just garbage. I would like to see them like slightly more powerful, but still have downsides. Decisive strike.
Yeah, decisive.
I can do it in 7 words.
Oh, hit me with it.
Why does this exist? This is bad.
Hey,
Nice. I like.
I can feel that. I was just gonna say, yeah, no, I think that's kind of what I was, you know, I like the upsides downsides thing, and for the most part, the way that the obsession mechanics change gameplay is never really for the better. Like decisive strike, you know, it's a pretty big downside to running obsession stuff, but the bonuses for your obsession stuff never make up for that. And the gameplay it encourages is awful. You just don't chase this one guy ever. You can't. Sometimes you feel like you're forced to.
Or you only chase him.
Yeah, and he can use that. Like, if you don't chase him, he could fucking use that to his advantage in ridiculous ways, and it creates for a frustrating gameplay experience. Whereas stalking the obsession, you know, giving you bonuses, how it could theoretically play out, where like the obsession has to be more stealthy, and like you're constantly hunting them down or whatever. I think that's kind of neat. If it was better communicated, you would feel it a lot more in game.
I feel like we don't even have to talk about the perks anymore. I think we basically covered it.
Well, the perks fucking blow.
We can
They
like
were
talk
really
about what
good,
we think
and
about
then
the perks, but you know.
Save the best for last doesn't even really work. Like they changed it, and then no one used it, and then it just doesn't really work.
Yeah.
You know, it's what is it?
Instead
It's,
of just like making Unrelenting and Save the Best for Last not stack, they just had to.
That wouldn't have been a good thing either. Fucking, you got to be really careful with how you mess with lunge cooldown. It has to be super situational or equivalent. Otherwise, you're just gonna start fucking up parts of the game you didn't even know you could fuck up. Like when they changed Unrelenting and Save the Best for Last, everyone was like, "Yeah, awesome! Wow, these perks are useful. I'm happy." And then we all learned that harsh fucking lesson that every single mechanic in the game is intertwined. And guess what? Changing lunge cooldown, you just completely destroyed unhooks. They haven't recovered since.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think they realize that like any killer can slap on those perks and then make unhooks literally impossible just by standing nearby.
Can't even 1-for-1.
Yeah, you can't even one, like even with borrowed time, you probably couldn't you couldn't 1-for-1. I don't think borrowed time even existed back then, but if it did,
no, it didn't, because I was about to say, honestly, I'd really like to see how Machine Gun would fare when borrowed time was in the game.
I'm pretty sure they would just massacre through them with borrowed time. Honestly,
Yeah.
it was dude. In its prime, when it was its fastest, it was fucking stupid. It was so stupid.
Anybody remember when you could stack 4 perks and you Save the Best for Last 4 times?
Oh man, I don't.
And
like
this
talking
certain
about this
streamer,
stuff.
like this certain streamer, loves smacking someone on the hook, and it was just like stupid.
I liked watching killers complain about things while running Save the Best for Last and Unrelenting. That was fun. When killers would like rage on stream, and they're like, "Man, what is going on with this game? This is why this game's bad. I can't believe this shit." And then they're running
Proceeds to
fucking. You
down
see
two
them
people in
whip a
4
lunge
seconds.
and they recover in 0.01 seconds. It's funny as fuck.
Dude,
Which is kind of it's kind of like a case for when you give killers powerful tools to use, the game could still suck. You know, one side doesn't have to feel amazing to make, or one side doesn't have to suffer to make the other feel amazing. Because guess what? Everyone can suffer. You give them this crazy perk combo, and people are still upset.
Where were we? Oh yeah, add-ons.
Yeah, that was all in Boyfriend's memo, wasn't it?
That was
No,
all
no, no,
on
no, no.
on the Judas journal.
Yeah, that was Judas Journal. Never mind.
Let's go into Vanity Mirror and Scratch Mirror, similar to Glass Shard and Mirror Shard. Vanity Mirror is basically the Evil Within 2 version, where you cannot progress past tier 2, and when you stalk, you see everybody's auras within a 60-meter range, and Scratch Mirror is the same, just you stay in Evil Within 1 and you see it in a 32-meter range. You get bonus points for hitting people.
Bonus points.
Bonus ducks. I don't know, man. I feel like everybody was really hyped when these add-ons came out. Then a month later, people realized they're fucking trash. Especially Vanity Mirror, dude. Vanity Mirror is so bad.
Really? I actually think Vanity Mirror is better than Scratch Mirror, to be honest.
Nah. I mean, I was playing with a guy who plays a lot of Myers. We like playing Survivors. And we played against the Myers who use Vanity Mirror. And like the whole game, we were like talking about how he just gets shit on because he uses Vanity Mirror. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's great. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think taking away the ability to get to tier 3 and one shot down people is no good. But I think it's better than Scratch Mirror for sure. Scratch Mirror, like a game where a killer's using Scratch Mirror is just a joke to me as a survivor. Like it's like honestly not even fun because it's so easy. Like there might as well not even be a killer. He chases you and you just run away and he can't catch you. It's literally
I hit a window. Bye bye.
Yeah, like it's so dumb.
Bye bye.
You know what I mean?
exhaustion perks.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
like at least Vanity Mirror, he like has a chance to catch you because he at least runs fast and all that shit, you know. So I mean, I do think that they're both underwhelming and they look better like on paper than they are. You know, like I feel like people look at those perks and they're like, "Damn, that's a cool perk," you know, until they play with it and it's like, okay, it's not that good. But you know, I don't know.
I remember. I just want to share a short story, like a personal story. I remember running Scratch Mirror on Azeroth's game, like Azeroth's resting place, and I surprisingly killed everyone except this one Claudette who was at the shack. Pellet was gone.
Jackson Infinite.
This was before window blockers, I think. It took me. I even put up a timer at some point because it was probably more than that, but it took me 12 minutes to catch her at the shack because at some point she didn't even give up. She just messed up at some point. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's not a good perk. Not a good add-on. Yeah, it's overhyped, I think. I don't think they're that good.
I want to talk. Can I want to... Yes, I can. Yes, I have decided in my mind. Yes, I can.
But screw you, because Tombstone piece.
Okay. Are we talking?
What
You
do
said
wanna
we
talk
didn't
about?
even need to talk about the perks, and then I wanted to talk about the perks. But we'll talk about the perks.
We
after.
can talk about the perks when we're
Tombstone
done with
piece.
the
Is
add-ons.
the Tombstone piece the one where like
Tombstone
you
piece is
get
the
to
one.
Mori one survivor?
Yeah,
You get to Mori. Kill healthy
that
or
goes-
inner survivors with Evil Within 3. Disables the ability to stalk with Evil Within 3. Ooh. Killing a survivor.
What's the point of that? Why can't stalk? You can't stalk with Evil Within 3. Why would you stalk in Evil Within 3?
Yeah, I
to
don't
see
know.
people better. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't understand. I never. Even when it came out, I never understood that. Someone tried to tell me that you could stalk people while in Evil Within 3, and it
And
like
it fills
banks
up your
to your
thing.
next.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, so like when Evil Within 3 is done, it's like already pre-stocked a little. But I tried it and it does not work at all. I don't know. I really
Yeah,
don't.
I
know
don't
the
get
point.
it.
Basically, the add-on, which we were talking about, you get to kill you get to kill people while you're in Evil Within 3. It's not like you just moor them off the ground. You have to get really close, and then you tap M1, and instead of like it gives you like M1 kill, and then Micheal just grabs them by the neck and stabs them in the stomach. You know, you can actually kill more than one person. It's just it drains the power, so you go back to tier 2, and it considerably increases the amount of evil required to reach Evil Within 3. And
what's the difference between the tombstone?
Judah's tombstone. They're basically like similar. So Judah's tombstone locks the ability to kill healthy or injured survivors. With Evil Within 3, disables the ability to stalk, tremendously increases the amount of evil required to reach Evil Within 3, and so basically you don't immediately go back to tier 2.
That's the only difference?
Basically, the only difference is that it takes longer to reach Evil Within 3, your movement speed is moderately decreased, and yeah, when you kill someone with it, you don't immediately go back to tier 2.
Oh, does that make the tombstone piece and not the tombstone better since you don't lose move speed, or do they both?
It's like when you use the tombstone piece and you kill someone, you immediately lose your Evil Within 3. You immediately go back. And that just doesn't happen with the tombstone.
Okay. Alright, but don't you have, isn't there the add-on with infinite Evil Within 3? I guess you would still lose Evil Within 3 with that, though, eh?
Yeah, with
but you cannot use it with, you cannot use it with the piece. It says
Excuse me for being slow. That makes sense.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault. Yeah, I guess those add-ons are just like, what if we made an add-on that killed survivors? You know? I
mean, I kind of like the idea behind it. I don't know if it plays out the best, but I don't think it's terrible.
It's weird. It's just not a lot to talk about with these add-ons. They're interesting, but they're not really good.
Well, I don't know.
You want to say anything about that, Tofu, or?
I mean, I don't know. Not. I think Tombstone moderately reducing your movement speed is like one of the most crippling things ever. I think any add-on on any killer that reduces your movement speed as killer is fucking like unbearable almost.
Dude, wait till we get to the hag. Yeah, you can rip on the add-ons so much.
Yeah, holy shit. But I mean, that's why I don't like Tombstone. I've used I feel like Tombstone piece is like there is like just there to combo with fucking Dying Light, just to be a giant fuck you to the survivors. But like the actual Tombstone itself, I just don't see. I don't know. I've used it. I just don't see why. I don't know. I just don't get it. I think it's pretty bad. And if you combo it with like the Infinite Tier 3, sure, you can go around mooring people forever. But I think you literally got to stock like 3 whole survivors plus like some with a 4th guy or something. Like I think you have to do like some shit like that just to get your tier 3. It's just kind of crazy, I think they're cool. Like I think they're interesting designs. They're very unique. I mean, no other killer can just mori somebody from standing up. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of unique and cool. But at the same time, I don't know. I guess I'll just say that.
I just thought what I thought about. The add-ons, like the description of the add-ons in game is that they are used to moderate your power, right? So basically, really like the trapper really like coats the traps in oil and shit. So you'd assume that Myers carries around the add-ons. So it kind of makes sense that the tombstone slows him down when he's carrying around a whole tombstone with him,
I guess I never thought of it that way.
They should. You know how they added the Wraith's bell when he's cloaking? When Myers should just carry around a tombstone in his other hand and it takes up half the screen.
A big ass tombstone.
He just has it in his back. He just has it like strapped to his back.
It's like 200 pounds.
He just starts panting after 5
minutes.
minutes.
Every time you stalk someone, he holds the tombstone in front of his face.
Every time you stalk someone, you slow down and he goes like fucking panting. Alright. Last add-on. We get the Fragrant Tuft of Hair, which just, unlimited duration of Evil Within 3 tremendously increases the amount of evil required to reach Evil Within 3. It's like nowhere at the add-on.
That's how I feel about that.
That was a long
Yeah.
pause. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I don't like.
There's
I don't
nothing
really
to
know,
talk
so-
about here. I get it.
Yeah, it does what it does, you know.
Yeah.
I think having long ass periods of tier 3 is kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of dookie as Survivor, but at the same time, it's not like unbearable. It's kind of like what we just talked about earlier when Flair talked about like add-ons that give no counterplay. Like I think like for instance like the Infinite tier 3 one, the Fragment of Hair, is probably like
Closest thing
one
to
of the
that.
most painful things. Yeah, it's probably the closest. Yeah, it's probably like the most painful thing to play against as a Survivor. But even it, like, it doesn't. It's not like impossible. You know what I mean? It's not like whenever it's going on, you're like, okay, we're completely fucked no matter what. You know, like you can still beat it. It's just hard, and it also just kind of makes the game like what's. I don't know. It's like defeat. It feels like defeating almost, like knowing they'll never be out of tier 3. But I don't know. I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's only a result of just having no ed from his Evil Within 3.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a unfun add-on for both sides too, because you spend like 4 gens stalking, then you get to one-hit people for like 1 generator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Unless you get lucky and find like an AFK guy, like some sucker that's AFK, you can just stalk for all your shit. I've had that happen to me.
Good.
Alright. Skippity pop pop perks. There. What did you say? Something?
Hey! Okay.
Here you go.
Alright, I've trained for this moment. My whole 10 minutes.
You get your title cards.
Yeah.
The stage is yours.
I don't know how I feel about him. No, I'm just kidding. Save the best for last. All the add-ons were like really, or add-ons. All the perks. There's 2 perks that I remember, and then there's one that the face cam perk. Right. Okay. All really good when it came out. People were like, these aren't fun, and then they just said, all right, we're gonna make them useless. Except Dying Light, which has some utility as the face cam perk of choice.
They're gonna buff Dying Light, my dude.
Oh,
buffing Dying Light.
radical, dude, gnarly. That's awesome.
That's a
yeah,
joke,
no,
right?
they were all really
They're-
unfun and strong, and they're like, all right, we're gonna nerf them, make them useless. And they did that, and then save the best for last. You know, obviously that had to fucking go. That was stupid. It was overpowered and unfun.
About buffing Dying Light, they were saying something about considering to make Dying Light be active as soon as the obsession is hooked. While it's hooked, and the obsession like dies slower on the hook.
Just fucking face camp him. You still face camp him. Everyone does things real slow. Just play what's his fucking stupid face. Play the new killer. I forgot his name. Jameson? Oh, Freddy Krueger, yes. You could play him. You could play him. Throw everyone in a dream world, face camp a fucker, and then boom. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. Nothing can be done. As soon as you
face through.
Yeah.
You face through Freddy. He doesn't have collision while he's in the dream world.
But if you put him in the dream world, they do. So you use the add-on, you use the perk, and then boom, 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 boom. Everyone's in dream world. I don't know, whatever. I'm beating a dead horse here. What I'm trying to say is save the best for last. That's what I was going on. Save the best for last is kind of cool because it not only does it eliminate the problem of in theory, it eliminates the problem of, fucking unhooks completely because you need to be in a chase for X amount of time. And if they're trying to unhook after being in a chase for that amount of time, then I don't know, that's a risk that they're willing to take, right? It's usually when you go to unhook someone, you're not already in a chase, right? And you're definitely not in that chase for 20 seconds. So in theory, it's cool because it solves the problems that are caused by melee weapon reduction, melee weapon cooldown reduction.
Reduce the melee weapons, make them smaller.
Yeah, sure, whatever. And then it just doesn't work. Like, if you break a chase for any amount of time, which actually happens a lot more often than you think, like, you just lose all of your 20-second, all of your buildup, all of your save the best for last buildup gets wasted if the chase breaks. So, like, every time you kick a pallet, I think, like, you save the best for last gets fucked over or something. It just doesn't work. It's something I'll have to investigate and test if I ever feel like playing Dead by Daylight again. So, anyways, What else? What else? Say what is the one that makes you go faster?
Play with
your food.
I just wanted to point out real quick.
Right,
The perks they all have like quotes, you know, like the Dr. Sam Loomis quotes. And the quote for Play with Food is you fooled them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. I just thought about, you know how like people used to play Billy with Play for Food, and then you're like Rev and you're still faster than Survivors.
You know, when you get like when you could hold out your chainsaw revving and move faster than Survivor Sprint. Yeah, I remember.
You fooled them, haven't you, Billy? But not me. Behavior entertainment.
You got him.
It's probably behavior interactive and not entertainment.
Because they don't entertain anybody.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
But it's like they're actually called beyond interactive.
What do we need to say about this, boy?
It used to be really fun, and then they made it not fun.
But was it ever fun for survivors?
No.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think anything that they do to change the movement speed of killers needs to be like delicate. Or just don't do it at all. Or like if you are gonna do it, like be super delicate with it. You know, like
yeah, it takes a few months of research in a laboratory if you want to make that shit work.
Yeah, you gotta get in there with the test tubes and figure that shit out. You can't just slap it on there and be like, sure, whatever.
Dude, Mathman hit us like with, you know, like when Mathman like analyzed the nerves to Freddy's power. He was saying something like you gain some sort of amount of meters distance and shit like this. Like, whew. I don't know, man. You know,
he's a math man. He's all about the math.
Yeah.
I should say this because I don't want to come off as too whiny. I would prefer perks be
it's too late
useless
already, my dude.
Whatever, Knife Bird. I want to say, you know, I'm not 1,000,000% against perks being used because it's better than the perks fucking sucking and being in the game. So if they have to be useless for a bit until you figure something out, great. Just because nobody likes unfun perks. I would love so fucking much if they did that with if they did that with Decisive Strike or with Borrowed Time or any of the second chance perks, all these crazy strong survivor perks, if they just made them useless for a bit before they came up with like a creative solution, that would help with the enjoyment of the game so much.
That's kind of what I thought they were probably doing to Freddy, to be honest. Just kind of making him useless for now until they can, you know, find a way to make him better for low ranking.
Which I think still has to be the full redesign. I don't know if they'll do the full redesign. We'll just have to see.
Probably not. I think those were Michael's perks. If you guys want to like rant about Dying Light, but I think everybody knows like Dying Light is just
Dying Light's the face cam perk. You face cam, you get everyone is sad. Yeah. I get how it's like kind of supposed to play out, you know, the idea being, okay, some of the things, you know, you don't want to kill the obsession first, save the best for last, you don't want to kill the obsession first. But then we throw in this perk where you want to kill the obsession first, so you get different bonuses depending on what's going on in the game right now, and that creates a really cool choice, but by default that kind of doesn't really work because one strategy will always be more optimal than the others. And then on top of that, the way it could play out and be interesting was if all of the killers ran their default teachable perks all the time, but they don't. Like if you had to think about, okay, when do I want my save the best for last? When do I want my face cam bonus? Then it might create for some cool gameplay choices, scenarios, whatever. But they're just gonna run the teachables of the other killers that work better.
Nah, I guess I can't really say anything about that. That's like that's not something I've ever thought about before, so, you know. I don't know about how Tofu feels about this. Why'd you tell us, Stefan? How do you feel about
I don't
this?
really feel any type of way.
That's fine. I think we're done with Michael's perks then, right?
Yeah.
But oh wait. Ding ding ding, it's a cowbell. You know what the cowbell means? Bonus round. There's also Survivor in this DLC, you know?
Whoa.
And that's about Alsa's perks. Let's talk about Laurie's perks, my dude. Let's talk about Laurie Strode's perks.
Soul Survivor, the most abused, neglected perk in the history of Dead by Daylight. Soul Survivor is a
What
cool
does Soul
perk
Survivor do though? What does it do?
just
Let me spell out.
Alright.
Soul Survivor. Each survivor killed or sacrificed disrupts the killer's aura reading ability. One killed or sacrificed reduces the killer's aura reading range by 50 at rank 3 to 75 at rank 3 and 100% at rank 3. Wow.
Wow.
What? It's like 100% percentages. It doesn't say slightly decreases the aura reading range. It actually gives us a percentage. Holy crap. That's a new one. Anyway, Soul Survivor. Is there really anything we can talk about? Soul Survivor?
It's a sad perk. Makes me sad.
You read Soul Survivor, everyone's sad.
Well,
yeah. I just feel like it's an interesting designed perk. You know, it's one of those things that like has potential, but it just I don't know.
They started making a whole lot of perks that just didn't really have a maximum aura reading range. They're just like, all right, you know, BBQ. BBQ is like you just get auras anywhere under this circumstance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or what other ones did they add? They added a few.
Empathy. Oh, that's not a killer perk.
Even Object of Obsession is just infinity
and beyond.
Or is it? Does it work? I forget.
No, it's like 72 meters, I think.
Yeah, it's 72
well,
meters.
But for the killer, for all intents and purposes, with the killer, I think the killer just reads your aura if you're looking at him. So like, does Soul Survivor reduce that range? I don't think it does.
I think it does.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you combo,
it's like meant to be comboed with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's meant to be, but does it work? I can't remember.
It works.
Whatever.
I think it
I'm
works.
pretty sure someone tested it and it works. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Are we moving on to the next perk? The next perk, we got an Object of Obsession. If you are the killer's obsession and look in the killer's direction, your link will reveal your auras to each other. This effect applies only if you're outside the killer's terror radius to a maximum of 72 meters at max range. Otherwise, it applies to a maximum range of 64 meters. That means like when you're not the obsession.
One of the coolest perks in the game.
Also, one of the probably most abusable perks when you play with survivor friends. You know,
it's still cool as hell.
It's
yeah,
cool as hell.
I
Except when you're playing Wraith finger guns.
Yeah, perks like that.
Everything dicks over Wraith though, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
When you Wraith and you see someone blink up in the distance, you just hit that leave game button.
It works really well against Trapper too, because you can literally watch every single trap.
Yeah, that might just be a side effect of what is it? A side effect of him fucking disarming his bear traps, just completely ruining everything he wants to do.
Dude, I think they should just remove disarming bear traps and replace it with holding bear traps open.
Well, they'd have to, you know, think real hard about it beforehand. But it could be done, and I would like to see something like that. Yeah.
Is there anything else we can say about Object of Obsession, or as the community likes to call it?
Soul Survivor doesn't apply to enough scenarios for it to be
Object of Obsession.
Well, I thought we were doing whatever.
I think Object is a good example of how obsession perks could be. Like it's a fun perk. It gives you like a decent reward, but it also fucks you over a lot because the killer sees you like at all times.
Too stealthy.
Yeah. Like I think it's a perfect. Like I wish more obsession perks were like Object. You know, like for instance, the next one that we're gonna get into is gonna be fucking stupid. You know,
the real treat's just like about to come.
Yeah, and we already discussed all the killer perks that are basically just garbage. You know what I mean? And their downfall is basically having to either chase a guy or not chase a guy. Like I just think Object is a good a good example that should be used. You know what I mean?
All right, let's go to the next perk. Let's go to the perk that if you're impatient enough not to wait for it to appear on the shrine, Decisive, the only reason to buy the Halloween DLC at this point, strike. Once per match, when the killer's obsession succeeds a skill check, Jesus Christ, how's this word? Once per match, when the killer's obsession, succeed a skill check to automatically escape the killer's grasp and stun him for free, 3.54 seconds. When not the killer's obsession, when the wiggle meter is at 35%, succeed in a skill check to escape the grasp. There's nothing to be scared of, Laurie Strode. You're so right, Laurie Strode.
Wow, Laurie Strode. You're so wise and smart.
Your screeches, they sound like...
Is that like an actual quote from
Yes.
Laurie in one of the movies?
Oh. I think there's a scene where she's like...
Because she's like,
when,
she's scared fucking shitless the first 2 movies, dude. I don't know. Nothing to be scared of is a bold statement.
I think there's like a scene where like Myers is in the house and she's like babysitting some kids and she's like telling them to hide and there's nothing to be scared of. I don't know. Oh well.
Either way, can we go ahead and get into the fact that this perk is fucking bullshit?
Yes.
Like, did you already say what it does?
Yes. You stab him in the neck and they
you like
and
basically
then they
you get a fucking free getaway when you get downed. You get once per game as long as you can hit a skill check that isn't that hard to hit as long as you've been playing this game for more than like a couple hundred hours. You get one like free get out of jail. You know what I mean? He catches you and you're just like, just kidding, fuck you, and you stab him in the neck and then you get out. And a lot of people run it because obviously it's super strong. And my favorite thing is that it has no downside. There's no downside to it at all.
You know what the best part about the Side Strike is?
What's that?
When it was released, it wasn't even an obsession perk!
Oh, I know, dude.
Everybody got it! Every single fucking person you picked up. Boom, stab in the neck. Boom, stab in the neck. Boom, stab in the
And
neck.
it used to be 5 seconds.
And you know what was even cooler too? They put it in the shrine, dude. The fucking weed hacker came out.
Yeah,
They put it
right
in the
away.
shrine. Everybody had it, dude. Everybody had it, dude. Every game was like 3-4 man Decisive Strike every single time. That was fun times, dude. Those were good times.
You had to catch everyone twice.
For like 4 or 5 months afterwards, my Decisive Strike not only ended my fun in Dead by Daylight, it ended my career as a streamer. Everybody fucking hated me because I was that guy that dropped people that used Decisive Strike. That was my thing, man.
And like
everywhere I go, you know, months later, someone posted a clip of me on Reddit or whatever, and then first comment, yeah, that guy, he dropped people. What an asshole! That guy's such an asshole. He dropped people that used Decisive Strike. Like that perk ruined my everything. That was the end of Dead by Micheal Myers. Halloween was the end of Dead by Daylight for me. That's where it all just started to suck.
Can we get
so I say that perk would elicit some strong emotions in people.
Can we get some Fs to pay respect for Flair's streaming career here? In Tofu's chat. Come on.
Pay respect.
Pay respect for Flair's streaming career.
Sure.
Come on, everybody. F. Come on, let me see those Fs. Come on, I see 2. I see 3. I see 3. I see 3. I see 4. Oh, 5, 6. Jesus Christ, you're getting so much.
Fortnite streamer, I love it.
Yo, Fortnite's the shit, yo. You should all play Fortnite. Come on.
I see a Flare 2 art. Flare 2 art emote. Dude, you're getting so much respect right now. Oh, there's free Flare 2 arts. You got 3 subs in the chat. Oh wait, no, that's the same guy who posted again. Alright. Let's get back on the Decisive Strike.
Okay.
I mean, is there really anything else to say about the Decisive Strike?
I mean,
it's still bullshit. It was always bullshit.
Well, okay. Basically, yeah, it's bullshit. It's way too strong. It's an obsession perk, so it should have a downside, but it doesn't just because why not? And I think that's basically it. I think if they gave it like a significant downside, I think it would be a lot better off and be more balanced, you know?
I've actually seen a DBD streamer. I don't want to like just say straight to the name. You know, I've seen a DBD streamer make the point that he would trade any 2 killer perks in to be removed if in exchange Borrowed Time and Decisive Strike would be removed from the game. And that made me think about it. I think there's no killer perks. I would trade 3 killer perks to trade in to be removed if those 2 perks would just not exist.
I would
You
make
know?
that trade as a Survivor player in a heartbeat. To be honest, I don't
Same-
even
yeah,
make
that's what he was saying. He was
right?
like, I would make that trade in a heartbeat. I would trade barbecue and chili and enduring. That's what he was saying for those 2 perks to be removed. I would love the game. Like that's what he was saying. And I think that really made me think because I've never thought about that before. It's like that just also kind of shows you on what like level of power the Survivor perks are compared to the killer perks. It's just like something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think it's weird that the Survivor perks seem to be more powerful and more potent than killer perks, even though the killer only, there's only 1 killer who has 4 perks, and there's 4 survivors with 4 perks each. The fact that there's 16 Survivor perks on the field at one time, as opposed to the 4 of the killer's perks, you'd think that the killer's perks would be more like potent, but they're not. Like Decisive Strike and Bar. I love, for the record, I love Borrowed Time. I think it's a great perk, and I fucking hate camping killers, and I love having something to like play against them. But it is a super, super powerful, potent perk, and I can't.
Especially when it's like I get it. I can't really get mad at Borrow Time anymore because it's like it's so good to have that perk when there's like just scumbag people who just camp for no reason. But then you have those games
Camp
where,
for no reason or rewarded in gameplay.
Hell yeah. You just camp and then you play like a decent killer, you don't camp anyone, you hook someone, you go like 5 meters away, boom, unhooked. And you can't even chase the second guy because he gets the buff too.
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's been so long you guys are like accepting Borrowed Time as part of the game. I still fucking hate it. Camping sucks, yeah. Borrowed Time as a temporary solution, alright. But it does a lot.
I agree. It shouldn't stay in the game. It affects things other than camping. I agree by a lot. I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like I can't get mad in those situations where it's used against camping. Whereas when I see the Decisive Strike, I'm always like Decisive Strike. But
that's fair.
Like when Borrowed Time is just like even when you don't camp, it still punishes you. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, I've played killer games where I don't camp all game, and the thing is that if you don't camp, people don't even proc their Borrowed Time, so they save it until the very end, and then like right at the very end of the game, you'll like hook a guy while the gates are open or something, and then they'll just pull them off before you can even walk away, and then they just borrow time out the exit because they know that you can't touch them, And it kind of sucks because it almost punishes you for not camping the whole game. You're like, oh well, if I would have camped, at least I would have used their Borrowed Time. So I agree. Like I think it's an interesting solution, like in the meantime, like a temporary solution, like Flair said. But they definitely need to look into fucking how unhooks, but they need to completely look into the entirety of unhooks so that it's not necessary. Then just fucking remove it or rework it to do something completely different because it does affect way too much shit that it shouldn't.
Can I just say really quick about unhooks? Someone was asking on the last dev stream. I think the question was something like, it really sucks when you get unhooked and you immediately get smacked because you can't move while you're in the air and you just get smacked in midair, and that didn't used to be the case. And if they could get that back, and the only answer they gave were like, yeah, but that only happens when the killer's like right there, and that's it. That's it. That's all they said, and it's like, I'm not gonna say who because I don't want people to wish on someone.
Say it. I know exactly who it is.
It's the guy. It's the person who you think it is. All right, that's all I'm gonna say.
Hey.
Hope you're happy.
That's all I needed to hear.
It's like, come on, dude. Come on. How are you gonna do us like that? Oh well.
It's whatever. It's whatever, dude. Their game experience is different than ours, but whatever. This isn't a witch hunt podcast, is it? Maybe. That's how I feel.
Are you okay?
No.
I got something to cheer you up, my dude. I got some emails. Let's read some emails.
Yes.
We got 2 emails, my dude. We got Kenny. Very short email. Kenny Oh my god, that's a French name. Kenny Deso, that's all I'm gonna say. What would you like to change about Survivor's objectives? Thank you for the email, Kenny.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a short but also very fucking awesome question. There's a lot we could go on about.
I'm not gonna start. I'm gonna let you guys start.
I feel like Flair has a lot to say. This is something I have to sit there and think about first, so I'll just buy time for Flair so you can come up with his probably way better than mine argument.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna
say that.
Okay, you go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that I really wish that there was more to do other than generators. Like, I think literally sitting there and holding M1 in a generator for 80 seconds is probably the most boring thing I've ever done in a video game for long periods of time, I should say. And I think it would be like, for instance, like in the game Friday the 13th, which don't get me wrong, I think Dead by Daylight's a better game, so I'm not trying to, be a Friday the 13th lover over here, but I thought it was pretty cool, the objectives in that game, how you had to go gather things and then bring them, and then there was like a short sequence of skill checks, but it was, there was more to it. It wasn't like you just sitting in one spot and holding a button for 80 seconds, and I would love to see something along those lines. Yeah. So like they could do something along the lines of like gathering gas or something for the generators. I mean, I don't even know if this is a perfect idea, but like something that isn't just generators, I've heard people talking about having, I've heard people talking about having like keys and stuff, but I mean, that idea is probably terrible. I would like to see something else for sure.
The problem I have with adding stuff like that is, how are you gonna add it in a way that does not allow the killer to just camp that?
Well, you could add like,
multiple. The answer already exists, and it's in the multiple objectives.
Like, there's already like 7 gens, and you only need to get 5 out of 7.
Oh, my bad then. Because I thought we were like talking about just like for generators, and like what, like if the thing that you had to gather could be easily camped by the killer, then it's like, okay.
Yeah, no, but there'd be 7 of them though. Like if there's 7 gens, there's also 7 gas cans and 7, or like whatever you would need to put in the gens. If there were 7 of them as well, then you'd be fine.
Mm-hmm. So to recap, the question was what new objectives would you like?
No, what
would we change? That's okay, better, because I get to answer that directly instead of indirectly. Because if the question was, what kind of new objectives would you like to see added to the game, I would like to see the current objectives improved first.
Right, go ahead.
So here's my answer. Number 1, I think that objectives. All right, here we go. We're gonna start. I'm a clickbait y'all. I'm a fucking bait y'all. I want to see generators take less time. I want to see, what were they when the game started? 50 seconds?
40, I think. I believe they were
40 is the number that I'm thinking of too, but that's got to be wrong. I think it was like,
sure it
was that's literally half the time.
While you talk, I'm gonna go look it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna just
whatever.
Quick and say,
I want to see generator times reduced, and everyone's saying, "Well, gen rushes." Well, yeah. But the core of the gameplay right now probably is working generators and hiding from the killer. Yes or no?
No.
No?
Wait,
what was the question again? I wasn't listening.
The core gameplay. What occurs most in Dead by Daylight gameplay is like working the objective, getting chased. Yeah.
I think the current like meta of Dead by Daylight is one guy getting chased and trying to waste as much time as possible, while the other 3 work on gens. That's the current meta, correct?
Essentially, I would like to see not that. I would like to see more interaction between killer and survivor. So essentially, the best solution, because generators in moderation can be kind of a cool element, and then they are boring to an extent, but that can be fixed if they make generators more interactive. So that's kind of, there you go. There's my 2 points right there. Generators need to be more interactive. The skill check system in Friday the 13th, as Friday the 13th as that game is, the skill check shit is pretty well done in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's way better done than in this game. I agree.
I like how interactive it is. and it's very short and sweet, but it's also okay. So, anyways, you get the point. Generators need to be more interactive. So, like do they talk about any skill check changes on the dev stream?
Something about some medkit add-ons, I think. Okay. Oh, you mean like you meant like the patch a week ago where they changed some skill checks? I think those only affect heal.
I mean, I don't think you're talking about like the amount of skill checks that come up, right? You're talking about in general.
Whatever. Anyways, more skill checks. I want to see more skill checks. I want to see more things to keep people interactive with the generators. Maybe some new skill checks. Maybe new mini games to it. Just shit that keeps you like looking at the generator, unless sitting there doing nothing but hold N1. And then on top of that, you should be working generators less, because no matter what you do with the generators, it's always gonna be you're always not gonna be really interacting with the killer, So there you go. That's what I would want to see changed about objectives. Now, of course, eventually, where possible, they should add more objectives to keep things fresh. What the new objectives would be, I don't know. Friday the 13th, the way they handled it in Friday the 13th is pretty cool, I think. And I think something like that definitely, absolutely, 100% could work for Dead by Daylight. But for the most part, I would rather see the current system polished above everything else.
By the way, I just found the patch in which pallet looping was born, which is patch 1.1. Adjusted pallets tend to apply at the beginning of a pallet drop instead at the end.
That was the very beginning, dude. The beginning of the end. And then you've also got Survivor hitbox reduction, and then you got the engine update, which changed the animation of dropping pallets. So yeah, you got it, man.
There you go. You like still going or?
No, I mean, there's not much else to say, Make skill checks more interactive. More skill checks, maybe have them have less effect.
I can't find that.
An idea they could toy with is maybe reduced vision while you're working a generator to an extent. I don't know. That might play out in a way that would just make working generators feel bad, and that's not something I would want to, make it so that you have to be more aware, more look around more while you're working the generators, because in a way that would be I don't know. Whatever. More skill checks, and then reduce the time it takes to work generators so you're not working them all the time, and then focus on making the main objective, not being found by the killer, or if you're found by the killer or someone's found by the killer, helping them get away from the killer. Shit like taking aggro from the killer. If maybe the survivor's in a place where they can't really get away without taking a hit, maybe what you could do is you could take a hit for them to allow them to move somewhere else, and then you would have the chase on you or on them, but it would start in a place that was, more comfortable. So if you're on a dead side of the map and like, oh shit, I just ran here, there's no pallets, your buddy runs over, takes a hit, and then you can get to a safer part of the map. Or unhook battling. Like right now, borrowed time just fucking killed this. There's no point in battling with your friends for unhooks because the person being unhooked stands in place after they're unhooked, so they're just gonna get smacked down if you do unhook them. And then B, fucking borrowed time. You don't need to. You only need one person to help to successfully unhook, provided the killer's not like face camping. You only need one dude. So battling for unhooks pulled a lot of survivors off of generators, right? And it was a really cool element of the game back when it actually worked. So yeah, more of the gameplay interaction with the killer, and then battling for unhooks was one big way of that. I don't know. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
We got one more email. It's from Bob Dull. First off, really love the show. I don't play as much as I used to for the same reasons as you guys, I suspect, but I love discussing the game, and this podcast is a great way to keep myself entertained at work. Great to hear that. Haven't listened to episode 8 yet, but you guys are always asking for more questions, and I've always been lazy to sit down and write some to you, so here we go. I've got several stored up by this point. Number 1. Aside from more time spent holding M1, what would you guys add to the game to slow game progress down? I don't want 20-minute matches unless they're action-packed, but I don't want 5-minute matches either. It's kind of similar to what we just talked about. I guess like
I didn't catch the end of that there. What were you?
He says he doesn't want 20-minute matches unless they're action-packed, but I don't want 5-minute matches either. So he just wants. What would we?
Oh yes. This is okay. Cool.
Yeah, we talked about this, I think, on earlier episodes about like setting up the traps for the killer. I had an idea where you could preparate the door handles so you open exit gates faster, but like the killer can, if the killer like checks the door handle, he can like quote unquote break it and it's normal again, something like that.
Well, what are you saying? And it's so cool hearing this from someone else. So first off, thank you for the email. Second off, yeah. I think you hit it right on. People are starting to see that longer games aren't always better games. And this probably first happened, I would say this first started happening with the Doc. Because his ability to slow you down from, working shit, and his ability to kick generators and actually regress your actions, as there's less survivors in the match, your ability to be able to counter that, it's pretty much gone. So the Doc can essentially, let's say you've got like 2 or 3 survivors left, and the Doc's got all the regression shit on, and he just keeps kicking the same 3 generators, like a 3-gen strat. There's really not going to be anything you can fucking do. Yeah, so you're stuck in a game forever, and the interaction is the same forever. Nothing changes. You feel hopeless. Not fun. Longer games aren't always better, and that's what excited me hearing that. So yeah, I agree. Fast games before were a result of killers having not enough pressure. Like they didn't have enough. Their time efficiency was pretty bad. So they couldn't stop survivors from working generators. Boom, bada bing, bada bang. Gens got popped in 2 minutes, and then everyone was out kind of deal. But then you've got really long, uninteractive, not fun games because the way that they decided to address these time efficiency issues was just making everything the survivors do slower. And that doesn't scale well. When there's less players in the game, that doesn't scale well because you still can't catch people. Killer still has trouble catching people with pallets and shit. Eventually they run out, but that's where the 20-minute game comes in and not the forever minute game comes in. Essentially, the killer just makes it so everything you do takes forever. In that time, he breaks pallets, and then he fucking catches you because you've got nothing to escape with. So yeah, no, there you go.
Yeah, I think the solution is to fix maps, which is like the solution to pretty much every problem right now. Is that the maps are fucked, and I think if maps were better, I think killers would have more map pressure. I think that's the issue: is that killers can't pressure the map, even very skilled killers. I just got done playing. Like I'm playing while we're podcasting, like on my stream.
Oh yeah, I'm watching to get myself.
I just got done playing a game against a killer who I know is a pretty good killer. Doug.
And he got I saw him. He got fucked.
He got blood lodge. What the fuck are you gonna do against blood lodge? You're fucked. You're completely boned.
It's something similar. Like I've been playing a lot. Quote unquote a lot, like I don't know, like 8 games a day or so, because I'm like having fun playing Billy, and I usually 4K these games. What do you know? I got Larry's. I got 1 kill. Cause fucking Larry's.
Yeah, I mean, some of the maps are just so crazy that like no matter how skilled you are as a killer, like you could be the best killer player in the world, but it doesn't help you when you're playing against survivors who know what they're doing. And then also on a map that has like an insane amount of like pallets and safe.
Or just generates infinites, like.
Yeah, and just things that like you can't outplay. That's really what it is. Like the super safe pallet loops, the super safe windows. That no matter how much better you are than the survivor, there's no way to like outplay them or outsmart them because it's just so safe. Yep. The fact that that's how maps are right now, it makes it impossible as a killer to create pressure. Like how are you supposed to create pressure on a map where the survivors just run around and are completely safe? There's like they have nothing to worry about until they like massively fuck up, and that's just what's. I mean that's what if the maps were better, if the maps weren't like that, and an actual skill. Like for the record, I don't want it to be like I don't want the maps to be so bad that like it's impossible to kite people. You know, I just want like if a killer is actually skilled and like smart and like has the means to outplay and outsmart somebody, that they should be able to get it down pretty quickly. You know. So that way, like, you get it down before one gen even gets done, and then people have to get off the gens to come save that guy. You know what I mean? You chase someone else. That's like pressure on like 3 different people. It creates a lot of map pressure, and that makes gens get done way slower. And I think that's how the game should be. It's just it can't right now because the maps are fucking ridiculous.
I just I don't know if this is off topic or no, but it just like I thought about it when you were saying it. I've always found kind of weird. I'm not saying it's bad, because I actually kind of like the fact that killers are the underdogs. But I always found it kind of weird how in this game, the killer has to rely on survivors making mistakes, whereas in a quote-unquote real horror scenario, shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't the survivors have to make the killer make mistakes?
Yeah, except Nurse, which is one thing that I always say when people bring up Nurse. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Nurse, and I do think that she's broken in this game. But at the same time, I also would kind of like enjoy to see more killers. Not really like, okay, I don't want to see the killers built around the way she's built. More as like, I think the maps being changed would do the same thing. I would like to see the whole game as a whole be shifted more towards like, if the killer plays it perfectly, they hit the survivor, and that's it. And like as a survivor, you're more trying to bait the killer into messing up as opposed to the killer trying to bait the survivor into messing up, Because that's how it is right now. As a killer, you need the survivor to mess up. If they don't mess up, you're not going to catch them, And it's just, I just don't like that. I don't like that way of balancing it.
Well, I think the problem is how much they have to mess up before you can catch them.
Yeah, I guess I could agree with that too, yeah.
Like, you have to fuck up so hard. You've got to be thinking like 4 seconds behind if you want to catch someone on a fucking pallet loop without bloodlust. So I'm okay with killers playing more of a reactionary role in a chase initially with pallets and whatnot, as long as break the pallets, catch them in the end. But yeah. I also on the map balance thing, I would like to say that map balance was the solution to fucking everything. Map balance was the solution to Infinites. Map changes were the solution to pallet looping, and then they just started adding in all these other things, either intentionally or unintentionally, to address these problems, and then suddenly game design is the problem with Dead by Daylight. Before you can balance the maps, you gotta have the right design.
But more like this guy has like 4 more questions, so maybe we should like.
Okay, let's go through it. I think we touched on it pretty nicely.
Number 2, I think more defensive options, like you guys talked about in episode 7, would be awesome. What did we talk about in episode 7? I don't know. But until we have that game, we are stuck with pallets and windows. What killer powers, aside from hunters and nurse,
more defensive options? He's talking about more options, resources to lose the killer. So like the dropping the barrels or doors or whatever.
But what he's really asking is, what killer powers, aside from hunters and nurse, do you think could ignore pallets/windows but still be considered fair if such a thing exists? Honestly, this guy has some awesome questions. Not gonna lie. Like these questions are really cool.
I mean, nurse isn't fair. Huntress to some extent isn't fair in some ways. I don't know. Hag can kind of ignore pallets with the teleport. I think he's just asking like what killers in the game currently.
What powers could you? What more
used to play around pallets?
No. What more powers could be? Could be made that I could ignore pallets or windows, but still be fair.
My bad. It's hard to say. That's a Yeah, that's a big question, asking us to design killers. It's a good question, but I don't know how good of an answer I could give you.
Yeah, I'm not creative enough for this, to be honest. I can't come up with anything. Like
Yeah.
I like the idea for the record. Like I think it's an awesome thing to brainstorm. And if I feel like a good answer to this would be awesome. I just don't think I could come up with one myself.
That's what we need for the next killer. I mean,
Yeah.
if I could kind of maybe flesh out my stupid Freddy idea a bit, which was kind of like,
Yeah, you could do that. I mean,
the whole thing was like survivors would have limited vision, and then you could use your supernatural killer abilities to mess with survivors when you're outside of that vision. So that way you could try to like fake being on one side of the palette and then try to hit them from the other side, but to an extent, if survivors read it properly and have good reactions, they should be able to play around it most of the time. I don't know, man.
Alright, next question.
That's a really tough, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
Sorry we couldn't.
Maybe next week we can talk about it. Maybe we can think about it
Sure,
next week.
exactly.
What do you suspect they might be doing for the Hag/Totem rework? What would you do? In my view, Hag is either a very weak or very oppressive killer, depending on how scummy the killer wants to play. I hope they do something to bring those two extremes closer to a middle ground, but I'm not sure what it would look like.
Hag needs to not be slow.
Yeah, I had a quick suggestion from someone in my chat that I think was really good. Make her speed regular speed and not fucking slow, because like slow killers are fucking stupid. I just want to get that out real quick. I hate slow killers. Yeah, except for Nurse, obviously. And B.
Well, we hate her too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody hates Nurse.
And B, make it so that like, okay, because then the biggest issue, like if she is normal speed, the biggest issue is, oh well, she can still like, camp and shit. She can basically play like a scumbag just as well. Maybe just make it so that like, you can set traps right under hooks or all around hooks, like there's no restriction. But if someone is hooked near a trap, that trap just is disabled. It just doesn't go off. Like even if they step over it, it just doesn't go off until the guy is.
I think that was me actually who suggested that.
Was
I'm
it?
not sure.
I'm not. I mean, you and
like
Num
what you're
and
describing
Carol and
right
a bunch
now
of
is
people-
exactly like something that I would suggest, or like in my mind, that's like something I want for Hag. So maybe that might.
Yeah, like that. I think that would be great, because I think the biggest issue with Hag, like the biggest reason why like I want her to stay slow and weak, is because of how ridiculous she is at camping. But if you just take away her camping abilities, then like her ability becomes more based around, catching people mid chase, like setting traps on pallet loops and stuff, and using it as a way to mind game people, and less about catch a guy and put 10 traps around the hook. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's how most Hags play right now. Is they catch a guy, they put all 10 other traps near a hook guy, which puts them in a struggle because it takes that fucking long, and then no one has a chance to save him. But like
because that gameplay is rewarding for the Hag. That's the gameplay that's catered to. That's kind of how she's designed. Is you can't do shit in normal chases because you're so fucking slow and your vision's terrible. But in an instant, you can teleport to static locations that you set up, and obviously you're going to gravitate. All right, which locations can I bait survivors towards? This is kind of why traps don't work in Dead by Daylight. Is the only things you can really bait survivors towards are hooks, generators.
Or dropped items from Franklin's
dropped
Demise.
Dropped items. That was the other one. That's a new one. A new point of interest is survivors' items. Obviously, they want their items so you can bait them towards. So there you go.
Swift Legend.
Yeah, I
Insidious
saw
camped
the
purple
Insidious clip.
flashlight. Oh my God,
that's
that
why
was
Insidious
great.
doesn't work normally, and that's why Insidious worked in that clip, is because you had a point of interest you could pull the survivors towards. Anyways. That's why a Hag is poo poo, is because I don't know, it fucking sucks. Now, if you could
Hag
place
is
her
bad
traps,
because she sucks.
yeah, whatever, man. So how do we fix this? Well, first off, playing Hag feels awful because you're slow as fuck. So we got to fix that right off the bat. We got to fix that. We got to make Hag not slow as fuck. Make it not feel so. You could try to make her not feel so awful when she's slow. But for the most part, that would mean giving her crazy like mobility perk, I guess. And with the nature of her having to lay traps around, it's not gonna work out so great.
What if
The best way would be to make her not slow. What's that?
I just wanted to suggest maybe like a small thing like right now she has to like put down the trap for 2 to 3 seconds. Why not just make that almost instant?
Yep, that's that. Okay, yeah, that was the next thing I was getting to. Was if you're gonna make her move at normal speed, having these another problem with her was these oppressive traps, as Sophie described, where she places traps and then if you step on them, you just take hits, and that's how it works. And she can put them around hooks. So the hook scenario, just not having hooks around, or not having traps around hooks, it's a plain way of fixing it, but it's an effective way. It kind of resolves the issue. So if you can't place her traps around hook survivors, the only other points of interest would be generators, and then I guess if you're in Franklin's Demise items. But generators, whatever. You need to be able to lay them really fucking fast, because guess how many generators are on a map? There's a fucking lot of them. So if you're going to be pulling survivors to any one of those 5 generators, or well 7, you're going to need seven generators worth of traps. Pallets, if you want to do it on pallet loops, because pallets, when you start chasing a survivor, that's a point of interest technically, but there's so many of them, you can't consistently. You can't just trap this one pallet and have them run to that one pallet every time, barring some specific. So you need to be basically. There's a lot of fucking points of interest that you're gonna want to be trapping. So normal speed helps with that. She needs to be able to lay traps fucking fast.
Dude, well, I just thought of, what would be amazing?
What's that?
What if like a hag wouldn't put down the traps like below her? What if she had like when Freddy holds down M2, he has like this weird wisp thing. What if Hag had that, and when you press M2, she like slowly slows down, like maybe does some weird thing with her fingers, and then at that point, that's where the trap will appear. So you can have shit like you chase a survivor around a jungle gym. When they don't see you, you like summon a trap at the other side of a window. You keep chasing them, and then they're like, "Oh man, let me just like vault this window." And nope, I put a trap there, and you didn't see me do it.
That sounds pretty fucking right to some extent, but there's one more thing that we got to talk about with the hag that kind of sucks. The last thing being, if you step in a trap, you eat a hit in a chase. If you're not in a chase and you step on a trap, you can walk away from the trap and then narrowly avoid a hit, but you have to make it to a window or pallet immediately. But in a chase, if you're stepping on a trap in a chase, you take a hit, it sucks. It feels really bad. You didn't really get outplayed. It's just because there was a trap there and she's going to have a million of them with these other changes. It's going to fucking suck. So you need to change how the trap functions?
Someone just made the great suggestion, like based off of what I said. Just make Hag draw the triangles on a frisbee and she throws the frisbee in front of
I never thought about the throwing traps thing, but it's a really fucking good suggestion. I don't know if it'll be one that might, I don't know. It's cool though, because it does help a lot with the time efficiency problem with having to lay down so many traps. That could definitely be a thing. It's an idea I'd have to play with in my head.
what about?
But yeah, I revert her traps to how they were before, where people complained Hag's traps were useless because once the trap went off, you couldn't really do anything with it, right? Or what you could do with the traps once they went off, didn't feel. Yeah. So essentially, yeah. Well, okay, that's whatever. It's they weren't impactful enough to justify the time you had to take putting them down. So there were 2 problems. The trap didn't feel strong enough, and fucking placing traps took forever because you're slow as fuck. Placing traps is slow as fuck. So if we speed up the issues of the traps being slow as hell placing, then we could suddenly go back and say, all right, maybe putting traps down that don't have as much of an impact is fine. Because they did have utility. There was a lot of play around them that just ended up not being viable because fuck, this train of thought, my brain is fucking awful.
No, don't say it. I think a lot of people like your brain.
Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm slow with this.
It's fine. It's fine. Take your time. I mean,
if you lay traps really quickly, it's okay if they're not that impactful. And yes, oh God, Jesus. I'm sorry.
You wanna like?
I'm sorry, fellas.
Go over to totems really quick, because like that's the other part of the question he was asking about totems. Totems. I think the whole concept of totems is kind of dookie. I just don't like it.
They're whatever, man. It's another thing you hold M1 on. That's what it is.
Exactly, and it's just like they're tied to hexprooks, and I think hexprooks in general are
the way they did hexprooks kind of sucks. Hexprooks could be done pretty well, but the way they did them sucks.
I like to imagine hexprooks having like a risk reward also for the survivors, where like cleansing a hex totem should be you get a lot of points for it, but you should be impacted for the rest of the game, just like how the killer gets impacted for the rest of the game for losing the perk. But that's just me. You guys want to go to the next question?
I want to finish up my hag thing if I can.
Go ahead.
Essentially, the way traps worked before was if a trap was placed, you couldn't attack if you teleported immediately after the trap was triggered. So this prevented this scenario of, oh, I stepped on the trap, I take a hit. That scenario didn't exist as a survivor. But the trap still had utility because they were tracking. So if someone activated a trap, you would know that there's a survivor over there. And the model, the hag clone that pops out of the trap is staring at the survivor, so you know exactly where they are. So they gave her tracking. And then if you could zone the survivor into the trap. So if you're on a pallet loop and you're standing on, say, the pallet, and you put the trap on the exact opposite side of the loop, and you force the survivors onto that trap by blocking the pallet, later on, after the trap has been triggered, later on, you can teleport to your trap and then get a hit. So you have to zone survivors into your traps to net hits. There was thought required in playing with it, and there was thought required in playing around with it. And they could avoid that trap still, but they would have to leave the tile. So sometimes there would be tiles where they wouldn't be able to take a hit, but it's not every tile. It would become situational, less frustrating. And it would be something you could see, like at a glance. Okay, so the pallet's on this side of the tile. I'm not going to be able to do shit to that because the hag can fucking zone me. Anyways, it added a lot of thought. It added a lot of interaction. The only reason traps weren't acceptable at hag is because she's so fucking slow and she laid them so slow. Traps always had utility. It's just the time it took to lay them. You could never justify the pros with the con of taking absolutely forever to do anything with your traps. So there you go. There's a solution. Revert the traps back to how they were regarding their functionality. Keep the placement speed, and then up the hag's movement speed, and boom, you've got a functional killer. So there you go. Sorry for it. It shouldn't have taken as long as it did to say that, but it did. I apologize.
I guess that's what podcasts are for. I don't think people would listen to the podcast if you were just like, if you would just give a suggestion and don't give your thoughts behind it. You know?
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good.
You shouldn't feel bad about it.
I agree. I think it was a pretty good sum up too, to be honest.
So I don't know, what are they planning to do with the hag? Because wasn't that the question? Was how do you feel about their suggested changes about the hag?
Oh no, he was like asking what we would do.
What we would do. Oh well, there you go.
I mean, the only thing they were talking about the hag recently was that they'd maybe reduce her terror radius by another 4.
PogChamp! That's exactly what she needs! What did I just say? Reduce terror radius. Problem solved. Spin the fucking wheel, boys. Alright, what's the next email?
Question. How would you rebalance Doctor to make him more fun to play against but still keep his current power level? Playing against a Doctor is an experience I always dread, even though I survive most encounters. Dude, that's what Cody wants! He wants Doctor to be awful to play against.
Yeah, man. You heard the game director.
Mostly
Bend
because
over.
It's either
Doc gets his fun time, man.
Mostly because it's either a boring match or a match with juking. The killer isn't a true possibility because the Doctor illusions will give you off your location again, and you'll get shocked again, and you'll scream again.
Yeah, Doctor, it's a tough. There's a fine line you gotta walk.
I don't.
Essentially, what it is at high level play, all this information that killer gets about survivor isn't essentially a problem. For high level play, as long as you can run from the killer. Now that's kind of been mitigated with Bloodlust, but whatever. We're still gonna play off of that. However, at low level play, survivors don't know how to run. So they have to hide. And then suddenly all these aura reading abilities that had no effect at high level play completely ruined the game experience for lower level players. So you gotta, yeah.
Yeah,
that's why Doctor is miserable for him, is because he gets found by the Doctor so easily. And he doesn't know how to run. So it feels bad, you know? His one tactic that he used, which works to some extent, is hiding. And he can't do that anymore. So how would you fix the Doctor? Well, you'd have to reduce his tracking to some extent, and I think the best way to do that, whilst also removing some of the monotony that exists for him on high-level play, would be to change the skill checks. Change the skill checks. You know, the skill checks where you fail a skill check and you squeal and you reveal your location. If those were gone, then it wouldn't be so bad for survivors. And then how would you redesign him? Well, I think I mentioned this earlier on the podcast. Pretty cool. Was we would focus more on his ability to mess with survivors' perceptions and their interaction with palettes. So like you could tweak his palette shit farther, and then it would require more thought using palettes in a chase. Ideally, if you play it near perfectly, you still should be safe on a majority of palettes. Maybe to make some previously safe palettes unsafe, which it does. Right now, currently, I think there's like 3 pallets in the game where it's a dead end to some extent, and then the doc can turn that into a wall and then hit you from one side. So yeah, he would have to. Ideally, he would do that to more pallets, but not all. You'd have to avoid them. Stuff like that. Give that shock preventing interaction should be the focus of his play, because that makes him more interactive at higher levels of play. And it doesn't ruin the play experience for lower levels of play, because you can still hide. And then you're not forced into those chase scenarios. That's my thoughts. There's my thoughts on Mr. Doc Man.
Alright. You want to say anything about that, Tofu, or?
I mean, I just want to say that it's kind of weird. Like the Doctor and Freddy both have that same thing. What Flair just said about how like the aura reading and how basically it's shit against good and high level survivors, but against like, you know, lower tier survivors, it's pretty much all they have. It's weird to me that like they keep releasing killers like that, you know? Like it seems to me that they reinforce things like stealth gameplay and like being able to lose a killer mid chase is like what they think should be happening with things like as usually their argument against Bloodlust is like every time I bring up how bullshit it is, it's like, oh well, if you're in a chase for 45 seconds, you deserve to be caught. You know what I mean? So like they obviously feel like you should be losing killers. But then at the same time, they add people like Doctor and Freddy where, like, you literally physically can't lose them. Like, they see your aura, or with Doctor, you scream and shit. Like, it's just weird to me that they do that. And I don't really understand it. I think that's, like, the major downfall of those killers. And I also think that, like, I don't know, the Doctor's ability to use Unnerving Presence, Distressing Overcharge is kind of disgusting. I think that combo in general is just
a good perk combo, my dude.
I think that perk combo in general is something that needs to be looked at. But the Doctor does it even better than anybody because of the skill checks show up in random places as well. So it's fucking stupid. I mean, honestly, I think that perk combo on anybody is just disgusting, and I don't think it should exist. But Doctor plays it especially well.
That like reminds me about the whole what we had last time, where Flair wasn't here. Where McCody said, oh, yeah, I think it's great that people playing against the Doctor feel miserable. And then it's like, if the intended design was to be miserable, then there's nothing we can really do, you know? Because it's like, if that's what they want, they're not going to change it. So, obviously we don't know, but just a thing to think about.
Yeah, I mean, they did say whenever they released Doctor that he was going to break the game or whatever. They kept saying that. The new killer's going to break. He ended up being complete shit, but I think that was their idea about it, was like the fact that you can't hide from him. I think
broke the game.
Yeah, that was like the first killer that like made hiding impossible.
Yeah, and I guess the devs weird view on the game was that stealth is a huge deal, even though it's not. So they thought he was going to break the game. You know what I mean? And maybe they want him to be that way. Like maybe they want him to be like overpowered in their eyes, which is basically just anti-stealth. Like I don't think he's overpowered at all, but I guess to like a newer player, he's probably pretty fucking annoying. You know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Last question. Would Deadheart be better as a brief moment of invincibility rather than a dash with no hitbox? For example, if stuck while using Deadheart, you'd get a speed boost as you usually get after being hit by the killer, and be more able to get away, but it would get rid of some of the shenanigans of jumping rooftops to easily escape the killer, using it as a mini sprint burst to secure your way to the next pallet town. Plus, if there's no dash, it'll be more difficult for the killer to know if their survivors use it, or there's some mind game potential. I think Deadheart is perfect as it is. I think it's... I've been wanting to say this for ages about Deadheart. I think Deadheart's design is really cool, because the thing about Deadheart is, it's you can completely shut it down if you just play smart as a killer, because if you just all you have to do is remember who has Deadheart, and that perk's completely useless.
That's a fallacy. That's bull.
I wouldn't call it completely useless, but it definitely becomes way less.
It becomes less strong, definitely. But I think Deadheart is like... I just like Deadheart because it's like, you know, there's like stuff for both sides with that perk. So I personally think it's fine. I don't think it needs changes.
Right now it fits into the game really well. Deadheart doesn't have much of an impact because if you use it to avoid a killer's hit and then drop a pallet and continue the chase, the killer's building up Bloodlust anyways. But if we remove Bloodlust and we remove these safe-ass pallet drops and all that shit, Deadheart's going to be a problem because it's going to deny you hits when you otherwise would have had a hit. In a lot of cases, pretty reliably too. So I think all you got to do to make Deadheart not suck is just make it so you can only pair it with no mither. So equipping Deadheart starts you injured and you can't heal up, but you don't get the benefits that no mither gives. So you got to run them together. That's easy fix. Yeah, like think about it. If the killer doesn't have Bloodlust, you're gonna tap this dude in Pallet Town. Like he's in Pallet Town, and oh shit, he messed up. I can hit him. Nope, Deadheart. He's behind the pallet. Good fucking luck catching this guy.
What if they?
The chase is gonna go on for another minute or whatever.
Just merge Deadheart and no mither into one perk.
That'd be too much value for one perk slot.
Oh, okay.
I think. Well, that's kind of what I want to do. But I want it to take 2 perk slots, because if you're running that, you're also going to be able to run everything else.
I guess.
So like Sabo, Unbreakable, all that shit, Bond, all these other time efficiency boosts. No Mither and Sabotage, low key overpowered.
What do you think, Tofu? You got anything to say about that, or?
I mean, I pretty much agree. I think Deadheart, like in its current state, like kind of like in the current game, I think it's totally fine. Yeah, like it. I think knowing, like, I think like you said, if you're a killer and you know the survivor is Deadheart, you can. I mean, it depends on how they use it. Most people use it kind of stupidly to the point where
they just use it where you lunge and then you Deadheart and it does nothing.
And some of them literally do like a complete 180 before they use it too, and it pretty much just like first off, it sells that they're about to do it, and second off, it makes it so that the dash means nothing because they're dashing at you. You know, I feel like most smart survivors, especially if they know that you know that they have it, you know, they'll use the dash basically just to like get to like a window or a pallet that they normally wouldn't. You know, they basically just use it for the dash and not for the invincibility. But I don't know. I do think it's probably one of the best exhaustion perks. I think exhaustion perks in general are kind of bad for the game, to be honest. I'm not a fan of exhaustion perks. But I think as far as they go, that Deadheart and Adrenaline are probably the best ones. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can go with or without it. I think it's fine. I wouldn't be pissed if they got rid of it, but I wouldn't be fucking, you know, I wouldn't be happy either.
I made like a stupid goddamn meme, like, I don't know, 3 months ago. It was like the picture of life, and there was like 2 arrows. There was a arrow pointing at the obstacle and the arrow, like an arrow pointing at Feng Min, and the arrow at the obstacle said killers being faster than survivors, and the arrow pointing at Feng Min said exhaustion perks. I just... Oh.
Yeah,
I like sharing my life stories. Come on.
Balance landing is pretty cool. I like balance landing. Dead Hard, right now it fits. I still don't like it though.
No.
I want to see all the exhaustion perks fucking beat over the head. I want them to all be like stupidly bad, except for I want them all to work in the unhook scenario, so you can speed away from the unhook after you've been unhooked.
See,
and then every other scenario, because that's where they. I mean, obviously there needs to be some sort of improvement to the current unhook scenario, because the current unhook scenario is awful. I'm not gonna debate that. But I liked the way that the speed boost factored into unhook scenario.
Yeah, I
don't know if I would want it to be a default thing, but I definitely liked it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But I think like just having exhaustion perks. I think as a killer, especially on the current maps, like it's still like it's hard to say like if this would be okay, assuming the maps are fixed though, But I know like in the current game, if you're a killer and you're playing against good survivors on a good map, on like a strong map, and they're running exhaustion perks, it's like pretty much impossible, Mm-hmm. They use the super safe tiles until you're forced to like break pallets or whatever, and then they use the exhaustion perks to get to the other safe piles, or the other safe tiles, and it's just it makes it like impossible to do anything as a killer, Like in between tiles is the one point where you actually have a chance to like hit somebody, And exhaustion, I feel like exhaustion perks like take that away, and I don't know.
Exhaustion perks do a lot of things. The biggest one is they remove pressure on the map. So like if you destroy half the map, if all the pallets of half the map are gone, all they got to do is run a single exhaustion perk, and suddenly that has no effect.
Yeah, it takes away.
That means nothing.
Yep.
They just fucking zoom. It's fun. It doesn't seem that bad. It's 3 seconds of more speed. It's fucking everything. In a straight line chase, exhaustion perks are gonna increase the time of that chase by so much. And the zoning not existing because exhaustion perks exist is crazy.
Yeah.
So while it doesn't sound that strong, it kind of ruins everything.
Yeah, it really does. It's weird whenever like as a killer you catch a survivor in a bad position, like out in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, yeah, perfect. And then they just sprint away like way faster than you to somewhere that's safe, and you're like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter that I caught him in a bad position,
They're almost in that sense. They're almost second chance perks. Sprint burst especially, where you get caught.
I hate sprint burst. Is like you can sprint burst is like another one. Like DS is like a turn your brain off perk. Like you can do the dumbest shit. You can do the dumbest shit, and then sprint burst is like right beside you. It's like, I got you. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. I got you. It's alright. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sprint Burst gets you more second chances than any other perk in the game, to be honest. It's crazy how many times.
Especially when it just like randomly activates during a chase. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's so weird to me. When I play Killer, I feel like Sprint Burst always activates on the survivors in like the perfect moments.
Yeah.
Like I have them out in the middle of a field and there's no pallets or anything to run to. I'm like getting into the range to hit them, and then bam, Sprint Burst kicks in. It's crazy. Like even not even planned Sprint Burst saves people's lives. Like no, I don't know. I don't get it. Sprint Burst is just a crazy perk. It's like the biggest ban. I would rather play against 4 decisive strikes than 4 Sprint Bursts, I think.
What if I just thought about this on the spot.
It depends. The immediate reward denial of decisive strike, like I've already downed you, and then having that taken away from me. Now this is just preference. I hate that more than finding someone and having them run away, because that's always been something that's been in the game. So I've more come to terms with it, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What if I just thought about this on the spot?
That doesn't necessarily mean that decisive strike is not as bad as Sprint Burst or whatever. That's just personal feeling. That has nothing to do with like a balance thing. Sorry.
What if so Sprint Burst increases your speed by 50% for like 3 seconds? What if at the end of Sprint Burst it like decreased your speed by 50% for 1.5 seconds? Just like a thought.
It is still being nutty.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Because
I think it would
depending on where you get, you get to a safe palette,
Exactly.
you can just slide that shit back and forth.
Yeah, I think it would help. You know what I mean? I don't think it would be a bad change, but I don't think it would be perfect or anything. I still think it would be nutty. Yeah.
That was something I was thinking about for life, though. Was you vault the window and then you have to face like a stun at the end of the window.
Yeah.
To some extent, I think I've figured out why that wouldn't work. I don't know, but that's definitely something I thought about.
Sprint burst lets you get away with more dumb shit, but like life is at the end of the day, I think life is stronger than sprint burst, because it's like you always get life at the perfect moment if you think about it, because it's like when you hop a window, you always pretty much build distance, and then you get the speed boost, and it's like it just snowballs.
I guess it depends.
I disagree. I think Spin Burst is way better than Life.
I hate playing against Life more, but
yeah,
Sprint Burst, yeah.
Sprint Burst is like when you walk up to a survivor and they clearly know you're there and they're not starting to sprint. It's like, okay, I guess I definitely know I'm not going to lunge at this guy because he's just going to sprint burst away. You know? But like playing against Life is just like, especially when it's like you catch them at the Ironworks window and they just jump through and then they life him. It's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna look for another guy because that guy's already in Texas.
He's gone, yeah.
All right, we got one last email. This email's just like, this guy's just called Brian.
Hey Brian.
Hey Brian, thanks for the email. What's your favorite piece of classical music?
Oh man.
Thanks for the email, Brian. That's a good question.
Favorite piece of classical music? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's all it says.
Yes.
I guess that's mainly because I've seen A Clockwork Orange recently, but I really enjoy Ode to Joy. I don't know, like...
I know.
I like that one. I like the melody really well. And also, coincidentally, it's the melody of the German national anthem. Okay. What a coincidence, right?
Fabulous.
Fabulous. I don't even know if anyone here can think of more than 3 classical pieces of music on the spot.
Yeah.
I don't know the names because I'm uncultured. Uncultured swine.
Just hum them.
I can't do that either.
Yeah.
The most uncultured man in the world, right here.
I just like the Mountain King or whatever the fuck that one. Sure, I'll go with that one because that's like the only.
I don't even. If
that's even the name of it, I'm not even sure if that's the name of it.
Oh my god, what's in the Hall of the Mountain King again? I gotta Google that.
What about Flight of the Bumblebee, dude?
Magnificent. Ah, that's good. That's a good one. Wait, what's this?
Oh, dude, what's the one where in Bugs Bunny when he's like massaging Elmer Fudd's head? That one, dude, that's my favorite. I don't know what it's called, but that one's my favorite.
What was it again? Oh, you mean the do?
Wait, were you talking about in the Hall of the Mountain King?
No. When you were talking about the Bugs Bunny one, is it
he's like massaging his head. No, it's not that one.
It's like Judge Judy
that one. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Isn't that Beethoven's Ninth Symphony?
Is it? I'm not sure. Dude, I'm uncultured too. I have no idea. I have no idea the names of these things. I just know I've heard them a million times. Is all.
Oh man, what a good ending! Talking about classical music.
It's.
I want more emails.
I appreciate this. I appreciate this email. This is a good email. Thank you, friend.
Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye. See you next time.
Hey.
Bye.
This has been Daylightcast. We got out Tofu, he streams. We got Flutterby, he doesn't stream anymore.
I stream.
He streams Fortnite, dude.
Oh, not Dead by Daylight?
I'm a variety caster.
He's a variety streamer, holy
variety.
Their links are gonna be in the description. I'm also gonna link that spotlight video, and yee, Tofu can do sub games now. Hooray! Alright. Woohoo! Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Again, you're not gonna say bye? Come on.
Bye-bye. I said bye. Right.
Later, guys.
Fuck
See you. See you, guys. See you.
See ya.
Ah!